Chapter 5474. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. After this, more powerful existences flew over from afar. They were all undead creatures. There were rotten corpses, evil corpses, gods, corpse demons, and so on, including the female corpse. There were a total of 13 of them. These existences, they were even stronger than the 7 corpse demons on the 14th floor. The strongest one should be one of the evil spirits. That evil spirit's evil aura was too terrifying. It made Lin Feng's hair stand on end. Fragrant. It's really fragrant. I haven't smelled such fragrant flesh in a long time. Ain corpse said. Do it. An evil corpse ordered. A large number of undead pounced towards Lin Feng and the others. Lin Feng waved his hand. The book of the undead flew out. Yin appeared. That lowly undead creature, kneel on the ground and accept the baptism of the book of the undead. Yan's voice resounded throughout the 15th floor of the cave of the undead. After his voice fell, the book of the undead vibrated and emitted a terrifying pressure. That kind of pressure, it was unimaginable for these undead creatures. So, many of the powerful undead creatures found it hard to bear after feeling this kind of pressure. They directly knelt on the ground. Their bodies trembled. The undead light gushed out from the book of the undead and enveloped those undead creatures. Suddenly, the bodies of those undead creatures instantly disintegrated. Then, they turned into ashes. So strong, Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. Although he knew that Yin had become stronger, he didn't expect Yin to be so tyrannical. It was really unbelievable. When the 13 Sage Realm undead saw this scene, their expressions couldn't help but change. Although they didn't know what the Book of the Undead was, they could feel an extremely dangerous evil aura from the Book of the Undead. These undead creatures knew how to seek good fortune and avoid disaster. Although they wanted to eat Lin Feng and the others, when these Sage Realm undead saw the Book of the Undead, they didn't dare to stay any longer. Instead, they ran towards the depths. F***CK. So cowardly? Lin Feng couldn't help but be speechless. They were so arrogant before. In the blink of an eye, they all fled. This transformation, it was really hard to accept. Yin, grab them, Lin Feng said. Yes, master, Yanning said. Following this, Yan's voice rang out, filthy undead, on behalf of the great master, I'll give you a chance to be reborn. Hurry up and come over and kowtow to the great master. Rays of light shot out from the Book of the Dead. Those lights, it directly enveloped the 13 terrifying undead creatures. The undead were unable to struggle. Everything in the world had its own counter. Those undead were powerful. Helplessly, the suppression of the Book of the Undead was simply too great. What magic treasure is this? The blood-haired female corpse shrieked. Lin Feng said, the Book of Undead. You are the nemesis of the undead. The evil spirit said in a gloomy voice, Brat, do you know whose subordinates we are? You actually dared to use the Book of the Dead to devour us? If our master finds out, even 10 lives won't be enough for you. Are you threatening me? Lin Feng sneered. The one thing I'm least afraid of is being threatened. I don't care who your master is. All I know is that today, you will all become my slaves. Yanning understood. He began to deal with the undead. A large number of runes surged out. Those runes, they all surged into the bodies of the undead. Contract, condense. Yin Ying's voice rang out again. When Yin Ying's voice fell, the runes that entered the bodies of the undead began to condense into a contract. The undead began to struggle. They didn't want to become a contract slave of the Book of the Dead. However, their struggles had no effect at all. In the end, the 13 undead creatures all became contract slaves of the Book of the Dead, including the 7 corpse demons from before, added together. There were a total of 20 saint-level undead creatures. This made Lin Feng extremely excited. Lin Feng and the others didn't continue to advance to the 16th floor. Instead, they returned to their residence. This was because Yanning needed to rest every time he attacked. And while resting, Yanning had to fuse with new power. He had to make himself stronger. Only in this way, only then could he deal with the more powerful undead creatures. After Yanning rested, Lin Feng and the others charged to the 16th floor of the Cave of Death. There were 15 saint-level undead creatures on the 16th floor of the Cave of Death, although there were only 2 more undead creatures. However, the strength of the undead creatures had increased a lot. However, Yin Ying's ability was also very powerful. Using the previous method, he made these undead creatures sign contracts with the Book of the Dead. As a result, the Book of the Dead had signed contracts with 35 saint-level existences. Lin Feng could wake up laughing even in his dreams now. He went back to rest for 10 days. Yin Ying came out again. So Lin Feng and the others charged to the 17th floor of the Cave of the Dead. The undead creatures on the 17th floor of the Cave of the Dead were even more powerful, and their numbers were sharply reduced. There were only 5 undead creatures. The weakest undead creature was at the 5th heaven of the saint level. The strongest undead creature was at the 7th heaven of the saint level. The strength of these undead creatures was incomparably terrifying. If it wasn't for the suppression of the Book of the Dead, Lin Feng and the others coming here was basically no different from sending themselves to their deaths. However, even with the suppression of the Book of the Dead, they still encountered trouble this time. The 2 saint-level undead creatures resisted very fiercely. But fortunately, Lin Feng and the others helped Yin Ying suppress these 2 saint-level undead creatures. In the end, they suppressed these 2 saint-level undead creatures. Lin Feng couldn't help but let out a long breath. In the end, these 5 powerful undead creatures also signed contracts with the Book of the Dead. There was only the last floor of the Cave of the Dead left. The biggest secret was inside the last floor of the Cave of the Dead. After Lin Feng and the others returned to their residence, they began to adjust their state. Only when their state was at its peak, it would be safer. Savage still hadn't woken up from his cultivation. Lin Feng originally wanted to call Savage to go with him. But since Savage hadn't woken up, there was no need to disturb Savage. After Yin Ying recovered, Lin Feng asked, "Did you sense the aura of the 18th floor of the Cave of the Dead?" "I vaguely sensed it," Yin Ying said. "Yes. What do you think is inside? Even more powerful undead creatures? Or something else?" Lin Feng asked. Yin Ying said, "It's hard to say. The aura there is somewhat strange. Only by entering that place will we be able to find out what the situation inside is like." Lin Feng nodded. The next day, Lin Feng and the others set out, heading straight for the 18th floor of the Cave of Death. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5475. Very soon, Lin Feng and the others reached the 17th floor of the Cave of the Dead Souls. Before entering the 18th floor of the Cave of the Dead Souls, everyone was a little nervous. Perhaps, no matter who faced the situation in front of them, they would all be nervous. Who knew if there was some terrifying existence on the 18th floor? Lin Feng and the others adjusted their emotions and then entered the 18th floor of the Cave of the Dead Souls. After entering, Lin Feng and the others saw that there was actually a skull on the 18th floor of the Cave of the Dead Souls. Apart from the skull, there was nothing else. There was nothing else. This, Lin Feng and Tao Dai couldn't help but look at each other. Could the secret of the 18th floor of the Cave of the Dead Souls be this skull? Why was the situation so strange? Lin Feng felt that things were definitely not that simple. He planned to see what was so special about the skull. When Lin Feng got close to the skull, a voice suddenly appeared. Suddenly, the skull actually opened its eyes. It was said to be the eyes. It was actually the ghost fire in the eye sockets. The 2 balls of ghost fire jumped, looking very strange. Lin Feng quickly retreated. The skull flew into the air. After looking around at Lin Feng and the others, it said, "I really didn't expect that after so many years, someone would actually be able to come here. In that case, have those undead creatures been subdued by you?" "Yes." Lin Feng nodded. "Not bad, not bad. You were actually able to subdue so many undead creatures. You have to know that in the eastern region, less than 100 saint-level undead creatures have appeared, and almost half of them are gathered here. No matter how you subdued those undead creatures, it shows that you have some extraordinary methods." The skull said, "Did you summon those undead creatures? Are you the master of those undead creatures? Is the formation of the Cave of Death related to you?" What kind of existence are you now? Are you also an undead? Which expert were you when you were alive? Lin Feng asked a series of questions. At the same time, he was very cautious. He had been on guard against the terrifying existence in front of him. That was because Lin Feng couldn't figure out the character of this skull. Since it was an existence from the 18th floor of the Cave of the Undead, it had to be very powerful. Their battle prowess would definitely be terrifying. If they attacked, Lin Feng was very worried, even with a treasure like the Book of the Dead. Most likely, he wouldn't be able to deal with the other party. However, since he had already encountered the skull head, he had no choice but to fight. Lin Feng wasn't someone who was afraid of trouble. He would take it one step at a time. You sure have a lot of questions, the skull said. Can you answer my questions? Lin Feng asked. The skull replied, Of course, there's no problem. Your first question is, did I summon those undead here? No, I didn't summon those undead. They came here on their own. I sensed the chi here, so I came here. Speaking of which, it does seem to have something to do with me, said Lin Feng. Your second question is, am I the master of those undead creatures? Hee, I've never admitted it, but what those undead creatures think has nothing to do with me. Your third question is, do I have anything to do with the formation of the Cave of Death? There should be a direct connection. Your fourth question is, what kind of existence am I? Am I also an undead? I can tell you that I'm not an undead. I'm a creature of the skeleton clan. However, my body has been destroyed, and only my head is left. My last question is, who was I when I was alive? Since I'm not dead, there's no such thing as when I was alive, or when I was dead. You asked this question because you want to know my identity, so there's no harm in telling you. I was once the chief of the skeleton clan, and the master of the minor 6 paths came from the skeleton clan. When he saw me, he had to respectfully call me uncle. After listening to the skeleton's words, Lin Feng was shocked. This was a skeletal creature. What a great origin. Even if such an existence was only left with a head, if it attacked them, it would not be able to withstand the attacks of these fellows. But this skeleton, it didn't attack them. What did that mean? I know what you're thinking. If you had died up there, I would have been happy. Since you didn't die up there, I won't attack you, the skeleton said. All right. After hearing the skeleton's promise, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel happy. He then asked, Why? I thought that you would attack us. To return the favor. The skeleton said, What favor? Lin Feng looked at the skeleton in surprise. He didn't know what the skeleton was talking about. Didn't that guy bring you here? The skeleton said indifferently. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows. The guy the skull was talking about, was he referring to the barbarians? After an existence like the skull woke up, the Skull King's eyes lit up. He could sense Savage's aura. It was normal. After all, Savage didn't try to hide his aura. He brought you here to remind me that it's time to return the favor. The skeleton continued. You owe Senior Savage a favor? Lin Feng asked. Yes, the skeleton said. But the skeleton didn't say what kind of favor he owed Savage. Lin Feng didn't ask either. There's a powerful energy gathered here for hundreds of millions of years. It can help you break through to the true immortal realm, the skeleton said. Hearing that, Lin Feng's face was filled with joy. Lin Feng had been cultivating here for a long time. He didn't know how many life and death battles he had experienced. Lin Feng was already on the verge of breaking through, but he was still missing an opportunity. Breaking through to the true immortal realm was different from breaking through to the true immortal realm. In the true immortal realm, one could use life and death battles to stimulate the body's potential to increase one's cultivation. But the true immortal realm was different. In the true immortal realm, one had to rely on some powerful opportunities to help the cultivator break through. For example, breaking through to the true immortal realm was like this. Once one broke through, one would immediately turn from immortal to an immortal. So, breaking through would be very difficult. It required an unprecedented opportunity. This was also what Lin Feng was worried about. Where could he find such a great opportunity? Now there was a light at the end of the tunnel. At this time, the skeleton exhaled. When the breath landed on the ground, an array diagram appeared. When the array diagram appeared, Lin Feng immediately felt it. The 18th level of the Cave of Death seemed to have become a purgatory world. I've sealed all the yin energy below. Now, I can release the seal and let you absorb the yin energy. As for whether you can break through, it's up to you. The skeleton said. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5476. Tao Dai. Take Bibi and the others and leave. Lin Feng said. Tao Dai nodded. He left with Bibi and the others. Only Lin Feng and the skull were left behind. After the skull was unsealed, it also chose to leave. A large amount of baleful energy. It gushed out from the ground. Lin Feng began to absorb the baleful energy. Lin Feng absorbed a large amount of baleful energy. Lin Feng discovered that this baleful energy was different from normal baleful energy, because this baleful energy contained a very special kind of power. It was the power of the Tao. No wonder this baleful energy could help him break through to the true immortal realm. Lin Feng had some doubts before. It was just baleful energy. It shouldn't be able to help a cultivator break through to the true immortal realm, right? After all, strictly speaking, baleful energy wasn't considered a very high-level power. However, this baleful energy was different. Helping a cultivator break through was not a problem at all. Tao Dai and the others left the area. They stood in the distance and watched Lin Feng go through his tribulation. The savage also woke up. The skull flew over from afar. When it saw Savage, it said, "How many years has it been since we last met? I didn't expect you to appear in such a way. Are you coming out of seclusion?" Savage raised his eyelids and asked. "That's what I was thinking." The skull said, "If I don't come out soon, perhaps no one will remember me. What about you? What are your plans?" The skull asked. "I'm going to do something very important. After he breaks through, I'll leave." Savage said, "You have a lot of confidence in him, but this kid's accumulation is too strong. It's not necessarily a good thing." The skull said, "For others, it might be destined to fail, but for him, it's nothing." Savage said, "Oh, you have that much confidence in him?" The skull was astonished. "Of course," Savage said, "he's different from the rest. I think you've more or less noticed it." The skull said, "I did notice something about his fourth bloodline. Let's not talk about it," Savage said. Skull tactfully shut his mouth and no longer talked about this matter. It took Lin Feng 10 days to completely devour the baleful energy. The Tao Law power contained within the baleful energy was also completely absorbed by Lin Feng. Lin Feng really wanted to roar, because he felt too comfortable now. The light of calamity flickered between his eyebrows. Obviously, Lin Feng was about to undergo his tribulation. He flew out of the cave of the dead spirits. Then, he flew into the distance. This was because Lin Feng didn't want to destroy the skull's nest. If he were to undergo the tribulation here, the skull's nest had to be destroyed. After Lin Feng chose the location for his tribulation, he no longer suppressed the tribulation light between his eyebrows. Above the 9 heavens, thunder rumbled. Very soon, the first lightning tribulation struck down. Lin Feng soared into the sky and swept his fist towards the descending tribulation lightning. In the following period of time, Lin Feng began his tribulation. Undergoing the tribulation wasn't easy. Lin Feng knew this very well. However, he didn't expect that the true immortal tribulation this time would be so dangerous. When he was only halfway through the tribulation, Lin Feng already felt extremely tired. This was an extremely terrifying matter, because the further he went, the stronger the lightning tribulation would be. At that time, the damage to his body, the exhaustion of his body, it would also be more powerful. Now, he was only halfway through the tribulation lightning and already felt tired. How would he pass the rest of the tribulation lightning? Lin Feng's expression was extremely ugly, but fortunately, the heavens didn't bar one's way. At this time, a large amount of faith energy surged over and was all absorbed by Lin Feng. "Almighty God, please bless my father so that he can recover quickly. Lord God, please bless me so that I can obtain a good ranking in the martial arts examination. Lord God, please give this little girl a good husband, please." Amidst the faith energy, It was mixed with endless thoughts. They were all things that the believers prayed for. This faith energy came from the temples that worshipped Lin Feng. Lin Feng had established his own forces in the Sky Martial Continent, the 9 prefectures, and some star fields in the starry sky world. Within those areas of influence, there were temples that worshipped him. They were able to continuously produce faith energy. Back then, when Lin Feng broke through to the Emperor realm, he had actually borrowed the faith energy. Now, Lin Feng broke through to the true immortal realm. The faith energy once again played a big role. The faith energy formed a long river of faith energy that flowed into Lin Feng's body. After receiving the support of the faith energy, Lin Feng's FALI recovered very quickly. Lin Feng continued to undergo the tribulation. The tribulation lightning became more and more terrifying. Lin Feng narrowly escaped death several times. However, he was still killed twice. The first time he was killed, Lin Feng relied on the undying bloodline to revive. Lin Feng felt that he was really lucky. The undying bloodline played a role at the crucial moment. Lin Feng was so excited that tears almost streamed down his face. But when he was killed for the second time, Lin Feng's heart turned cold. Because, the moment he was killed, Lin Feng was actually still conscious. The moment he was killed, undying bloodline, there was no movement at all. After all, the undying bloodline had already been successfully activated once. To continuously activate the undying bloodline's rebirth technique in a short period of time, it was indeed too difficult. So Lin Feng failed. Just as Lin Feng thought he was done for, a voice suddenly appeared. The Phoenix Nirvana technique that Lin Feng cultivated played a role. The Phoenix Nirvana technique was a sacred art recorded in the Phoenix Grimoire. This was the method of the Phoenix clan, and Lin Feng had learned it. After surviving 2 calamities in succession, Lin Feng's information multiplied. Although the last lightning tribulation was terrifying, but it was not able to destroy Lin Feng. In the end, Lin Feng succeeded in transcending the tribulation. He sat cross-legged. The energy of heaven and earth gathered and poured into Lin Feng's body. At the same time, endless Tao laws. They also poured into Lin Feng's body. Lin Feng's injured body was recovering rapidly. The surface of Lin Feng's body was surrounded by treasure light. That kind of treasure light. It made him look so sacred and so otherworldly. The previous Lin Feng, he was still immortal. From his body to his soul. Even if his combat power was amazing, he was still immortal. But the current Lin Feng, he was a true immortal, transcending mortality and becoming an immortal. So every move, he had a feeling of being otherworldly like an immortal. Breaking through to the true immortal realm was not only a breakthrough in his own realm. His physical body and soul had also improved greatly. His physical body had improved from the 2nd level of the sacred realm to the 3rd level of the sacred realm. His soul had broken through from the 1st level of the sacred realm to the 2nd level of the sacred realm. Lin Feng opened his eyes. In his eyes, Yi Zichen was stunned. It was as if there was an ancient world floating in each of them. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5477. In the distance, Taotai, Bibi, Blackie, Xiaolong, the Emperor Archaic, the Ancestor Insect, the Devil King Insect, the Savage, the Skull, and the others all flew over. Lin Feng stood up. When he saw his friends and elders, he couldn't help but feel even happier. It was a good thing. He needed to share it with his friends, relatives, lovers, family, and elders. Haha, a scourge like you broke through to the true immortal realm, Taodai said with a laugh. Lin Feng rolled his eyes and said, "What are you talking about? Who are you calling a scourge?" "I'm calling you a scourge, the biggest scourge in the world," Taodai said with a laugh. "I really want to kick you to the Western Hemisphere." Lin Feng pursed his lips. Lin Feng then looked at the Savage and said, "Senior, fortunately, I didn't disappoint you. This junior has finally broken through to the true immortal realm." Savage was very happy to see Lin Feng break through. He had been watching Lin Feng from afar. Although he was very confident in Lin Feng, but it was impossible for him not to be nervous. After all, no one could be 100% sure that they would succeed. Savage's confidence in Lin Feng came from the fact that Lin Feng was someone who had created miracles time and time again. But that didn't mean that Lin Feng would definitely succeed. When he saw Lin Feng being destroyed by the lightning tribulation for the second time, Savage's heart was in his throat. Fortunately, Lin Feng had used the Phoenix Nirvana technique to return. "Do you feel different after breaking through?" Savage asked. "I feel that this world is different. Originally, I thought that a single world was a single world, but now I feel that a single world can overlap and interweave with many other worlds. Originally, if I didn't use some special methods, I wouldn't be able to discover these parallel worlds or parallel spaces. But now, it's different. I can sense the existence of these parallel worlds and parallel spaces anytime and anywhere." Lin Feng said, "You've just broken through, and you still haven't grasped many of the abilities of the true immortal realm. Once you gradually grasp those abilities, you'll know that the true immortal realm is even more extraordinary than you can imagine. You can slowly experience these things in the future. You've just broken through, so you need to rest for a while. Let's go back to our residence first." "All right." Lin Feng nodded. He returned to the mountain peak where he was temporarily staying. Lin Feng began to recover. Soon, he entered a deep state of cultivation. The skull looked at Lin Feng, its eyes flickering. He said, "What a good seedling. It's a pity that he encountered the worst generation." The end of the epoch was imminent. This was indeed the worst era, causing countless people to feel despair. The worst era sometimes means that it's the best era. The times create heroes, and in the interval between the destruction of an era and the birth of a new one, there will always be some people who will seize the opportunity. "Do you think this kid is that kind of person?" Skull asked. "Yes." Savage said. "You're too confident in him. That's not good." Skull said. Savage said, "Because his surname is Lin. Everything is destined to be possible." This time, Lin Feng spent a month cultivating before he opened his eyes. Seeing that Lin Feng had woken up, Bibi and the others were very happy. They all ran over and surrounded Lin Feng. Then, they danced and chattered to Lin Feng. At night, the bonfire burned. Lin Feng displayed his cooking skills. All kinds of delicious dishes filled the table. Lin Feng had a strong premonition. Savage was about to leave. So, Lin Feng planned to let Savage have a good meal before leaving. Skull was very depressed, because it had no way to eat. It could only look at Lin Feng from the corner of its eyes. However, its eyes were ghost fire. When it looked at Lin Feng from the corner of its eyes, the ghost fire only jumped a few times more violently. Who knew what that meant? After eating and drinking, Lin Feng and Savage stood at the edge of the cliff and looked into the distance. "When is the next time we meet?" Lin Feng asked. "Maybe soon. Maybe when the war of destruction arrives, or maybe we will never meet again," Savage said. This world was very cruel, especially now. The world was so big. Once they parted, coupled with the fact that the war of destruction was about to arrive. So, it wasn't strange that their parting had turned into an eternal farewell. Lin Feng's heart was very heavy. Savage Sr. had silently protected him for many years. Lin Feng treated Savage Sr. as a close relative. So, thinking about this parting, it might be forever. He couldn't help but feel very sad in his heart. Lin Feng said, "I know that Senior has something extremely important to do, but no matter how important it is, I hope that Senior can put your own safety as the most important thing and abandon yourself to protect others. This kind of thing should be left for others to do." Lin Feng was not a saint. So, he did not want to see his family become a saint. Lin Feng could do many things for the world, but Lin Feng couldn't sacrifice himself for the sake of saving the world. Those great saints could sacrifice themselves to save others. Lin Feng could not. Lin Feng hoped that his family would not do this. He would only do what he could. If he died, he would really disappear into thin air. Many years later, who would remember you? Just like those great existences in history. For the sake of the world, they sacrificed themselves. What was their fate? They became the blood of sin. Their descendants became the descendants of the blood of sin. Their descendants were mercilessly erased. Who pitied them? Who would pity their descendants on account of their contributions in the past? No, so. Heroes could do it. Never be the kind of hero who sacrificed himself to help others. Doing that, it was not righteous. It was stupid. The savage was silent. Senior. Lin Feng looked at the savage. The savage turned to look at Lin Feng. He finally nodded. Lin Feng's face. A smile appeared on his face. He believed that the savage would not lie to him. There would definitely be a time when they would meet again, right? The next day, the savage left. The skull also left. It wanted to look around, because it had been sleeping for too many years. It was very curious. What kind of world was the outside world like? After the savage left, Lin Feng's mood was slightly bad. But Lin Feng was also used to seeing storms and waves. Soon, he adjusted his mood. Tao Dai looked at Lin Feng and asked, "What are your plans next?" Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5478. Lin Feng said, "Participate in the regional war and search for the teleportation stone in the ancient battlefield." Tao Tai nodded and said, "That's a choice. Since I have nothing to do, I'll participate in the regional war with you." "That's great. When the time comes, we'll definitely be able to kill everyone," Lin Feng said with a smile. They didn't stay here for long. Instead, they quickly left this place. Saint City. This was a famous ancient city in the eastern region. It was rumored that the person who built the Saint City was an expert with great wisdom and magnanimity in order to fight against the foreign creatures. In the end, he died in the foreign battlefield. It was just that too much time had passed, and no one knew who that sage was. The reason why they came to this place was because Lin Feng and Tao Tai planned to buy 2 spots to enter the ancient battlefield. In the ancient battlefield, Lin Feng had many things to do. First of all, he had to find the mysterious celestial fire the evil flame master had told him about. If he could assimilate it, his cultivation would increase tremendously. Apart from that, there were many other benefits. Therefore, Lin Feng really wanted to obtain that kind of heavenly flame as soon as possible. Furthermore, Lin Feng also had a bigger wish, and that was to be able to go to the Supreme Divine Court to take a look before leaving the world of time reversal. The Door of Eternal Life, the legend of the Supreme Divine Court, Lin Feng had heard too many times. Lin Feng wanted to see what the Supreme Divine Court was like, see if he had the chance to enter the Supreme Divine Court, and then get a few precious treasures from the Supreme Divine Court. Of course, Lin Feng also knew that this was a relatively difficult task. However, he couldn't just not do it because it was difficult. To go to the Supreme Divine Court, one would need to use the teleportation stone. It was too difficult to gather the teleportation stone outside. Entering the ancient battlefield to gather the teleportation stone was a bit easier. Generally speaking, the cultivators who entered the ancient battlefield came from the various top powers. However, there were always some accidents. Those top powers would reward some of the spots to the families that had sided with them. Some family members would send their experts into the ancient battlefield to train. However, there were also some clans who felt that it was too dangerous to enter the ancient battlefield. Therefore, they took out the quota and sold it. The top forces that controlled the teleportation array were well aware of this matter, but they turned a blind eye to it and didn't care about it. Lin Feng and the Tao Dai went to find out who was qualified. Very quickly, they heard that in 5 days, someone was going to sell 5 people to them. When the time came, he would sell the quota at the Saint Pavilion. The highest bidder wins. After inquiring about the news, Lin Feng was relieved. In terms of financial resources, Lin Feng had never been afraid of anyone. They're selling teleportation stones. They're selling teleportation stones. They've just been unearthed. Come and take a look. When Lin Feng and Tao Dai went to find a place to live, they heard someone shouting loudly. Many people gathered around. A middle-aged cultivator was selling the so-called teleportation stone. It must be fake, right? It's definitely fake. Teleportation stones are so precious. If someone obtained a teleportation stone, would they sell it on the street? Many people started discussing spiritedly. They didn't believe that the middle-aged man was selling teleportation stones. You may not know this, but there are 2 types of teleportation stones. The first type is the teleportation stone used to enter the ancient battlefield. This type of teleportation stone is extremely rare, but there are a lot of them. These teleportation stones are basically monopolized by the top forces. Nobody can get their hands on them. The second type of teleportation stone is the teleportation stone used to go to the divine court. This type of teleportation stone is even rarer. I can't get my hands on it. These teleportation stones can help you enter the ancient battlefield. Once you're there, you can go and find the teleportation stone used to go to the divine court. The middle-aged man's words shocked many people. However, Lin Feng already knew about this. The teleportation stone he had obtained from the beautiful woman was the one used to go to the divine court, not the one used to go to the ancient battlefield. This kind of teleportation stone, it was even more precious. Are the teleportation stones you're selling real? Some people were tempted. Of course they're real. I swear on the ancestors of the Li clan that I'm telling the truth, said the middle-aged man. You're related to the Li clan? Some people were surprised. Of course, I'm from the Li clan. Otherwise, how could I have gotten my hands on these things? Said the middle-aged man. Lin Feng knew that the Li clan was a powerful clan in Saint City. Yes, he's from the Li clan. Indeed, he's a member of the Li clan. I know him. His name is Li Xiuxian. He's a second-generation member of the Li clan. I think he stole those things, so he doesn't dare to sell them. If he goes to those places, the Li clan will definitely find out. I know him too. He's just a loafer from the Li clan. I'll take these teleportation stones, said someone else. After the middle-aged man's identity was confirmed, the teleportation stones became a hot topic. The Taodai also wanted to go and buy some teleportation stones, but Lin Feng grabbed it. He's a swindler. Don't be fooled, Lin Feng said. Swindler? Tao Tai was surprised. Yes, those guys who spoke before were all fake. They're just putting on a show. Some high-level cultivators don't see such swindlers, but in the secular world, there are many of them, Lin Feng said. Hearing that, the corner of Tao Ye's mouth twitched slightly. Lin Feng and Tao Tai ignored these people. They left immediately and found an inn to stay in. In the next few days, Lin Feng and Tao Tai didn't go out. In the blink of an eye, it was time for the auction. Lin Feng and Tao Tai arrived at the Saint Pavilion. When they arrived, they found that the Saint Pavilion was overcrowded. However, Lin Feng guessed that there were more people here to watch the show, but there shouldn't be many people who wanted to buy the slots. After all, the slots to enter the ancient battlefield were extremely expensive. It wasn't something that ordinary people could afford. That guy is here too. Tao Tai pointed in a direction. Lin Feng looked over. Sure enough, he saw the middle-aged man. He had a shifty look and was also here to join in the fun. The middle-aged man also saw Lin Feng. He walked directly towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. He didn't know what the middle-aged man meant by walking towards him. Genius. Remember this site's address in a second. Chapter 5479. Lin Feng was skilled and bold, so he was naturally not afraid of this middle-aged cultivator. After a short time, the middle-aged cultivator arrived next to Lin Feng and bowed hand over fist. Brother Lin, it's a pleasure to meet you. I wouldn't have thought I'd meet you here. I'm in a foreign land and I'm in tears. Damn, who is this guy? He actually came here to worm his way into being friends with me. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter in his heart. Lin Feng asked, Brother, do you know me? Back then, in the holy stone city of the Sky Martial Continent, Brother Lin's elegance in cutting stones is still unforgettable. The middle-aged cultivator said, You're from the Sky Martial Continent? Lin Feng looked at the middle-aged man in shock. Hee, that's right. The middle-aged man grinned. Lin Feng was truly shocked. Sky Martial Continent, the starting point of life. Who would have thought that he would actually meet someone from the Sky Martial Continent in a world where time had reversed? Furthermore, he didn't know this guy. But this guy knew him. This guy couldn't be lying to him, right? In view of the fact that he had seen this guy swindle before. So, Lin Feng felt that his suspicions were actually very necessary. Of course, Lin Feng didn't express his suspicions. He just wanted to be careful. Brother, how should I address you? Lin Feng asked. Haha, Brother Lin is too polite. I am Wu Xiuren. The middle-aged man introduced himself. Wu Xiuren. Lin Feng carefully searched for this name, and at the same time, searched for the top families of the Sky Martial Continent. He was sure. He had never heard of this name. The Sky Martial Continent also didn't have a top family like the Wu family. Although Lin Feng was suspicious of Wu Xuren's identity, he still put on a cordial expression and said, "So it's Brother Wu. I also didn't expect to meet an old friend from the Sky Martial Continent here. Is Brother Wu still in the Sky Martial Continent?" Back then, when the Sky Demon was causing trouble, I had already fled the Sky Martial Continent. Danger lurked everywhere, and I almost lost my life. Fortunately, my luck was not bad and I was saved by the Zhang family. Wu Xuren sighed. Zhang family? Zhang Yudi's clan? Lin Feng asked in surprise. Back then, Lin Feng's relationship with Zhang Yudi was quite good. Although the two of them were not in a relationship, they were at least relatively good friends of the opposite sex. But later on, during the chaos of the heavenly demons, the Zhang family fled the Sky Martial Continent. From then on, thus, he had lost track of Zhang Yudi's whereabouts. Calculating the time, it had been about 170 years. Lin Feng would sometimes think of his old friends and Zhang Yudi. However, he did not know where Zhang Yudi was. He did not expect to hear about the Zhang family from Wu Xuren. Wu Xuren nodded and said, "That's right, it's the Zhang family." Lin Feng suddenly became excited. Would there be a chance for him to meet Zhang Yudi again? He asked, "Where are the Zhang family members?" Wu Xuren sighed and said, "I really don't know where the Zhang family members are. Back then, when we were traveling through space, we encountered space bandits and were defeated. Most of the people were killed, but I and a few others managed to escape. However, in the following years, everyone else died, and I was the only one who survived. As for Zhang Yudi's whereabouts, I don't know. Perhaps she died in that battle, or perhaps she managed to escape. However, judging from the intensity of that battle, the chances of her escaping are not very high." Hearing Wu Xuren's words, Lin Feng's expression was extremely ugly. Was Zhang Yudi really dead? "Brother, don't be sad. Heaven helps the worthy. Miss Zhang Yudi is a good person, so she might be fine." Wu Xuren saw that Lin Feng's expression was somewhat ugly, so he tried to persuade him. "Yes." Lin Feng nodded gloomily. He calmed himself down and said, "Brother Wu, many unbelievable things must have happened to you, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have come here." Wu Xuren lowered his voice and said, "Brother, you might not believe me, but later on, I met an incredible existence." "What kind of existence?" Lin Feng couldn't help but be curious. "A stone ape that had lost its memories. It was abnormally strong, and I followed it for many years. That stone ape was unbelievably strong. It was thanks to that stone ape that I was able to enter the time reversal world." Wu Xuren continued. "Stone ape?" Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. There weren't many powerful stone apes in history, so Lin Feng thought of the sacred battle ape. It was said that it was born at the same time as the great sage, Heaven's equal. Apart from that, Lin Feng didn't think of other powerful apes. The sacred battle ape had once fought against the heavens and the earth. However, it was said that it had suffered a calamity in the end, but the details weren't clear. "Where is that stone ape?" Lin Feng asked. "The demon realm," Wu Xuren said. "So you're also in the demon realm?" Lin Feng asked in surprise. "That's right." Wu Xuren nodded. Lin Feng was a little surprised. He didn't expect Wu Xuren to be in the demon realm. Actually, Lin Feng planned to go to the demon realm. This was because Lin Feng had the Demon Lord token. This was the identity token of the demon realm's master. With this token, one could unify the demon realm. However, Lin Feng heard that the demon realm was very turbulent. Various forces were fighting each other, and there were constant battles. Now, he could learn more about the demon realm from Wu Xuren. Lin Feng asked, "Brother Wu, what's the situation in the demon realm now?" Wu Xuren said, "The demon realm is rather chaotic. Many great forces are fighting to the death, wanting to unify the demon realm, but no one is able to do it. The era is about to end. Why keep fighting?" Lin Feng was speechless. Brother Lin might not understand some things. If you can control a powerful world like the demon realm, then you can connect your family's luck with the demon realm's luck. The luck of a top great world is incomparably extraordinary. When the time comes, by sacrificing the demon realm when the era is about to end, they might be able to protect their family's survival. Wu Shiren said. Oh, there's such a thing? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. At the same time, he was a little surprised. He hadn't thought of such a thing. It seemed that controlling a great world could help this force become a force that transcended eras. Of course, the prerequisite was that this force could survive when the era was about to end. And this was often the most difficult thing to do. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5480. If I go to the devil world in the future, can Brother Wu introduce me to that stone ape? Lin Feng smiled at Wu Shiren. He wanted to see if that stone ape was the legendary victorious battle ape. It was rumored that the victorious battle ape had already fallen. Could the rumors be false? In fact, it was very difficult to tell the difference between truth and falsehood. Wu Shiren smiled. Of course, no problem. Lin Feng then said, I'll introduce you to a friend of mine, Brother Wu. This is my friend, Wan Shutian. Lin Feng introduced the Taodai to Wu Shiren. The Taodai had taken human form and appeared as Wan Shutian. Haha, Brother Wan. Nice to meet you. Wu Shiren smiled and cupped his fists. The Taodai also cupped his fists and said, Nice to meet you. Lin Feng looked at Wu Shiren and asked, Brother Wu, are you here to buy a spot to enter the ancient battlefield? Wu Shiren nodded. Yes. It seems that Brother Lin and Brother Wan have the same plan. We can enter together. I heard that there are some teleportation stones that lead to the Supreme Divine Court. We can try our luck in the ancient battlefield. Who knows, we might be able to find them. Oh, is Brother Wu's information accurate? Lin Feng asked in surprise. Wu Shiren said, It should be accurate. We'll be able to confirm it once we enter. We won't lose anything even if we don't find them. But if we do, hee. Wu Shiren didn't finish his sentence. However, Lin Feng and the Taodai knew what Wu Shiren was going to say. Lin Feng and the Taoya's eyes lit up. Just as Wu Shiren had said, if they really found a teleportation stone, would they be able to go to the Supreme Divine Court? If they were lucky, they might be able to enter the Supreme Divine Court. They might even be able to obtain some extraordinary items there. After all, it was the Supreme Divine Court. The items inside would definitely be extremely heaven-defying. Whether or not they could obtain those items would depend on their luck. At this moment, a commotion could be heard coming from the front. Lin Feng and the others looked over and saw 3 cultivators walking out from the rear hall. The leader was an old man. There was also a beautiful female cultivator and a middle-aged man. The old man smiled and said, Someone entrusted something to us, the Saint's Pavilion, to sell. There are 5 medallions in total. When the time comes, you can take the medallions to the city lord's residence and hand them over. Someone will take you to the teleportation channel. The old man paused for a moment before he continued. Due to the limited number of spots, the token's value is quite high. The starting price is 50 million high-grade immortal stones. After the old man finished speaking, immediately, the sound of venting could be heard. The starting price was actually 50 million high-grade immortal stones, and it was an extremely high price indeed. The final price would definitely be even more shocking. Now, the first medallion will be auctioned. Everyone, start bidding, the old man said. 1 billion, Lin Feng shouted. Hearing Lin Feng's price, many people's faces turned green. 1 billion was indeed a sky-high price. Is this brat a fake? I think he's most likely a fake. Many people stared at Lin Feng with unfriendly gazes. They felt that Lin Feng was a fake. He was here to drive up the price. To drive up the price. Therefore, nobody chose to bid against Lin Feng. They wanted the item to end up in Lin Feng's hands. The first medallion was sold for 1 billion immortal stones. The second medallion will be auctioned. 1 billion. Lin Feng called out another price. Many people's mouths twitched. Why did this fake come out again? Still, nobody chose to bid. The second medallion was bought by Lin Feng. The third medallion will be auctioned. 1 billion. This time, it was Wu Shiren who called out the price. Wu Shiren had been swindling people outside and had probably earned quite a bit of immortal stones. Hearing Wu Shiren's bid of 1 billion, many people's faces turned green. Wu Xuren successfully bought the third medallion. The fourth medallion will be auctioned. 1 billion. Someone called out a price. F*CK. It's already 1 billion. I don't care if he's a fake or not. I'm going to follow him today. Someone said coldly. Then, he called out a price of 1 billion. Actually, the cultivator who called out the price really wanted to buy the medallion. He saw that the previous 3 bids were sold for 1 billion immortal stones. Originally, he thought that the price of 1 billion would be enough to scare the others. But this time, it wasn't enough to scare the others. Many people participated in the bidding. The fourth medallion was sold for 3 billion immortal stones. The fifth medallion was sold for an even more ridiculous price of 1 billion immortal stones. The other party didn't pay such a high price just to train in the ancient battlefield. They probably had their eyes on the supreme divine court. At this moment, Lin Feng and the other 2 had already left the Saint Immortal Tower. Actually, Lin Feng estimated that the medallion would be sold for 2 to 3 billion immortal stones. Lin Feng made the first move and called out a price of 1 billion, shocking many people. Those people thought that Lin Feng was a fake, so they didn't bid. They used the same method to bid for 2 medallions, saving a few billion immortal stones. Although Lin Feng had a lot of immortal stones, they didn't come by easily. But Lin Feng's celestial stones didn't fall from the sky. He had saved a few billion celestial stones, so he was happy. The immortal stones below the Saint Immortal Tower could be given to the cultivators who were loyal to him in the Sin domain. After leaving the Saint Immortal Tower, Lin Feng and the other 2 found a restaurant to eat. Let's not care about Wu Xuren's character or whether he was a scammer. Wu Xuren was currently in the devil world and was very useful to Lin Feng. Naturally, he had to get close to Wu Xuren. Wu Xuren also wanted to get close to Lin Feng. They really hit it off. Lin Feng and the others ordered a table full of good wine and dishes. Everyone ate and chatted. Lin Feng asked Wu Xuren many things about the devil world. He also asked Wu Xuren why he went to the devil world. Wu Xuren told Lin Feng the reason why he went to the devil world was because Senior Stone Ape wanted to go to the devil world. After coming to the devil world, Senior Stone Ape seemed to be looking for something. Lin Feng asked Wu Xuren what Senior Stone Ape was looking for, but Wu Xuren himself wasn't too sure. Although Wu Xuren had asked Senior Stone Ape, but Senior Stone Ape did not tell Wu Xuren what he was looking for. Moreover, Senior Stone Ape had been searching in the devil world for many years, but he had never found what he was looking for. After hearing about this from Wu Xuren, Lin Feng couldn't help but ponder. The reason for that was because there were many fishy aspects to this matter. Genius, remember this site's address in a second. Chapter 5481. Lin Feng tried to make a guess. If Senior Stone Ape was not a victorious fighting ape, then what was he looking for? If Senior Stone Ape was a victorious fighting ape, then what was he looking for? Lin Feng was mainly speculating on the second possibility. If Senior Stone Ape was a victorious fighting ape, then what was he looking for? This was something worth thinking about. No matter what he was looking for, it must be something extremely shocking. Lin Feng and Wu Xuren chatted for a long time. Not only did they talk about the devil world, but they also talked about the Tianwu continent. From Wu Xuren's understanding of the Tianwu continent, this person was indeed from the Tianwu continent and was not lying. However, Wu Xuren was not a cultivator from a big power. He was just a rogue cultivator. His life could be considered legendary. A rogue cultivator who came from a place like the Tianwu continent actually became such a powerful cultivator step by step. Life experience. It could be considered incomparably rich. After coming out of the restaurant, Lin Feng, Tao Tai, and Wu Xuren parted ways. Both sides agreed to meet in the small square outside the Saint Pavilion 2 days later. Then, they would go to the City Lord's mansion together. Saint City was very lively at night. However, to Lin Feng and Tao Tai, they were just passers-by. Therefore, Lin Feng and Tao Tai had no intention of strolling around here. When Lin Feng and Tao Tai were walking towards their residence, they were blocked by a group of people. F*CK. Who are you people? Are your dog eyes blind? You even dare to block our path? Tao Tai's cultivation was strong, so he was naturally not afraid of these people. What big words. At this time, a cold snort was heard. Then, the crowd parted and a thin, middle-aged man walked out. Lin Feng was sure that he did not know this middle-aged man. As for Tao Tai, previously, Tao Tai had been living alone outside. Moreover, it appeared in its original form. Even if it was someone who had a grudge against it, it would be impossible for them to recognize it. Therefore, it could be inferred that Tao Tai did not know the other party. "Who are you?" Lin Feng looked at the middle-aged man and asked. The middle-aged man sneered. "Do you remember Zhou Ziqing?" Lin Feng naturally remembered Zhou Ziqing. Back then, he had killed him with a single arrow. According to Hong Yu, there was an expert behind Zhou Ziqing, an existence at the sage immortal level. It seemed that it was the person in front of him. "I do. What's wrong?" Lin Feng asked indifferently. Seeing that Lin Feng was still so calm even after being surrounded, the middle-aged man suddenly had an impulse to gnash his teeth. When he looked at Lin Feng, he couldn't help but emit an ice-cold, murderous energy. He said coldly, "Brat, I'm going to make you pay with your life for Zhou Ziqing." As soon as he finished speaking, the middle-aged man wanted to kill Lin Feng. But at this time, Lin Feng made his move. He struck out with his palm. A huge energy handprint condensed in the void. Then, the energy handprint ruthlessly smashed into the middle-aged man's body. Bang! Accompanied by a violent collision sound, the middle-aged man's body directly exploded. He died tragically on the spot. The one who was killed was Su Longtian, right? That guy was at the 7th heavenly layer of the Saint Immortal Realm. His strength was unfathomable, but he was killed by that young cultivator with a single move. Who is that young cultivator? Isn't he too powerful? A cultivator could not help but exclaim in shock. His face was filled with disbelief. Many people couldn't help but look at Lin Feng in awe and veneration. The strong would be respected wherever they went. "Spare us, young master. Spare us." The other cultivators that the middle-aged man had brought with him repeatedly begged Lin Feng for mercy. They were just a bunch of ants. Lin Feng could not be bothered to argue with them. "Scram! Don't let me see you again," Lin Feng said coldly. The group of people did not dare to stay and quickly left. To Lin Feng, this matter was just a small interlude. Lin Feng and Tao Tai returned to their residence. The two of them did not mention this matter at all. Soon, the day of the meeting arrived. Lin Feng, Tao Tai, and Wu Xuren met at the small plaza in front of the Saint Pavilion. Wu Xuren was wearing a fake beard and makeup. If one did not look carefully, one would not be able to recognize him. Lin Feng and Tao Tai could roughly guess why Wu Xuren was doing this. Previously, Wu Xuren had been swindling people outside. Moreover, he had used the Li clan's name to do these things. The Li clan was the City Lord's clan. Lin Feng guessed that the City Lord's clan knew about this matter and might even be looking for Wu Xuren. This time, they were heading to the City Lord's clan. Wu Xuren naturally had to disguise himself. Tao Tai teased, "Could it be that you have some sort of perverted hobby?" Wu Xuren smiled as he said, "I've been researching some Qi Huang techniques recently. Disguising is one of them." Tao Tai snickered and did not expose him. Lin Feng and the other two arrived at the City Lord's mansion. Today, the City Lord's mansion was quite lively. The people who came to the City Lord's mansion were basically cultivators heading to the ancient battlefield. Most of the cultivators belonged to forces that were inextricably linked to the City Lord's mansion. Of course, there were also some cultivators who bought the tokens and had no special relationship with the City Lord's mansion. After handing over the tokens, Lin Feng and the other two were brought to a courtyard. There was a huge teleportation array in the courtyard. At this moment, some spirit array masters were setting up a large array. Many people were waiting. Lin Feng saw a female cultivator that he had seen before. That female cultivator was none other than the one who had appeared during the auction. Her figure was too outstanding. Moreover, she was so beautiful that it was impossible not to remember her. "Who's that woman?" asked Lin Feng, pointing at the female cultivator and looking at Wu Xuren. Wu Xuren replied, "She's the granddaughter of the Saint Pavilion's leader. Her name is Yin Wenji. Why? Are you interested in her?" But then again, this woman is indeed a top-notch. Lin Feng shook his head and said, "I'm not interested in her. I just feel that she's a little strange." "What's strange?" Wu Xuren asked curiously. Lin Feng did not say anything and said, "Maybe I'm wrong." At this moment, Lin Feng felt that someone was sizing him up. Lin Feng followed this feeling and looked over. He saw a pair of charming eyes. It was Yin Wenji. This woman was looking at him. What a strong perception. Lin Feng could not help but be surprised. He nodded at Yin Wenji, and this beautiful woman revealed a very beautiful and moving smile. However, this smile seemed to have a deeper meaning in Lin Feng's eyes. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5482. Is this eye to eye? Have they hooked up? Tao Tai saw the gaze between Lin Feng and Yin Wenji and couldn't help but tease. Lin Feng smiled and retracted his gaze, not saying anything. However, he was much more guarded against this Yin Wenji. 2 hours later, the Great Array was activated. A Spirit Array Master said, "Everyone, the Great Array has been activated. Now, we can enter the Great Array in batches and be teleported to the ancient battlefield." Many people became excited. Naturally, the people from the large factions were the first to be teleported. As for Lin Feng and the others, they were the last batch to be teleported. Lin Feng could understand. After all, they had bought a spot. They were not related to the City Lord's family. Naturally, the other party would not let them go first. Batch after batch of cultivators were teleported. Lin Feng realized that as time passed, the energy contained in the teleportation stones was constantly decreasing. When the energy contained in the teleportation stones completely disappeared, the teleportation array would probably not be able to be used anymore. If they wanted to continue using it, they would have to use new teleportation stones to set up the Great Array. In fact, this kind of teleportation stone that could teleport to the ancient battlefield was extremely rare. It was very difficult to find. Lin Feng and the others also boarded the teleportation array. Whoosh! Light flashed. Lin Feng and the others disappeared without a trace. When they continued to teleport again, they had already arrived in another world. This was a world full of dilapidated and rotten aura. Everywhere was foggy. It emitted a gloomy and terrifying aura. Many cracks appeared in the void. Those cracks were the void's cracks. In the distance, there were some rotting corpses that emitted a rotten smell walking towards them. Further away, there were many pitch-black crows that coldly looked at these uninvited guests. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After entering the ancient battlefield, many people scattered. In fact, many people should have a certain understanding of the ancient battlefield. Therefore, these people had a strong purpose. For example, Wu Shuren knew that there was a teleportation stone that could reach the area of the Supreme Divine Court. Lin Feng had also learned about the location of the heavenly fire from the Fiend Flame Lord. As for the cultivators from the other factions, they had already sent people into the ancient battlefield. In fact, he had entered the ancient battlefield more than once. Perhaps he had made some shocking discoveries, but he hadn't been able to obtain those opportunities in time. He had no choice but to leave the ancient battlefield. It was said that one person could only enter the ancient battlefield once. When the ancient battlefield opened again, they would no longer be able to enter. More often than not, they would tell some specific information to the cultivators of their forces who entered the ancient battlefield. At that time, the cultivators of their forces would be able to explore it. Should we go look for the teleportation stone first, or should we go look for the heavenly flame? Tao Tai asked. Lin Feng took out a map. This was a map of the ancient battlefield that he had bought from outside. This map was actually very simple. Because many places were too dangerous, the map did not record them in detail. Lin Feng glanced at the endless sea of fire on the map. He pointed and said, "The endless sea of flames is probably in this area." Lin Feng then looked at Wu Shuren and asked, "Where is the teleportation stone you mentioned?" "This area?" Wu Shuren pointed at the map. Lin Feng was surprised. According to the map, the two locations were in the same direction. However, the endless sea of flames was further north. Now, Lin Feng and the others only needed to determine their current location. Lin Feng took out his heart compass and used it to determine their location. He found that they needed to head north to reach their destination. In other words, the three of them were currently south of their destination. After determining their location, Lin Feng said, "Let's go. We'll head north." Lin Feng and the others set off at an extremely fast speed. Along the way, Lin Feng and the others saw many terrifying dead spirits appear in the ancient battlefield. These dead spirits were basically transformed from cultivators who had died in the ancient battlefield. Many cultivators were fighting with the dead spirits. Along the way, Lin Feng and the others were attacked by several waves of dead spirits. However, those dead spirits did not cause any harm to Lin Feng and the others. They were all cleaned up by Lin Feng and the others. Along the way, they arrived at the place Wu Shuren had mentioned. The place Wu Shuren was talking about was a huge mountain range. Moreover, it was a blood-colored mountain range. It was extremely strange. Where is the teleportation stone? Could it be under the mountain range? It doesn't seem like there's a spirit vein here. Lin Feng said, "Hee, we should know where the teleportation stone is after sensing it." Wu Shuren said with a smile. Then, Wu Shuren took out a crystal, which was almost transparent. Lin Feng asked, "What is this?" "This is a crystal sensor that I invented myself. It can sense the location of the teleportation stone." Wu Shuren said proudly, "Damn, there's such a thing?" Tao Tai immediately revealed an expression of disbelief. Lin Feng was also extremely surprised. This was because the thing that Wu Shuren took out was too extraordinary. "Hee, this thing took me a lot of effort to create," Wu Shuren said. Lin Feng asked, "Do you have any more? If there's more, I'll buy one from you. Name a price." "Don't, it's too hurtful for us to talk about money. I just happen to have one here, so I'll give it to you," Wu Shuren said, and then handed over the other crystal ball that he had modified to Lin Feng. Wu Shuren was researching the Qi Huang technique, and it seemed that he had really come up with something good. Lin Feng did not stand on ceremony with Wu Shuren and kept the item. Then, he walked towards the blood-colored mountain range with Wu Shuren and Tao Tai. Wu Shuren's attention was focused on searching for the teleportation stone. Lin Feng and Tao Tai were observing the blood-colored mountain range. To prevent danger from appearing, Lin Feng felt that this blood-colored mountain range was a little strange. However, Lin Feng was unable to discover what was strange about it. Finally, they stopped in a valley in the depths of the mountain range. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Lin Feng saw that the crystal ball in Wu Shuren's hand was actually emitting waves of violent fluctuations. Wu Shuren revealed a look of joy and said, "I've sensed it. It seems that the teleportation stone should be here." Boom. A loud sound was heard. Lin Feng and the others were startled when they heard that voice. They looked inside and saw that a large area of rock walls about 100 meters above the ground in the depths of the valley had collapsed. A pitch-black cave appeared in front of the three of them. Geniuses remember this site's address in a second. Chapter 5483. When they saw the pitch-black cave that had suddenly appeared, Lin Feng and the others couldn't help but look at each other. Could it be that the teleportation stone was in that cave? If that was the case, then the teleportation stone shouldn't have been born in this mountain range. Or, it was a certain expert who collected some teleportation stones. Later on, that expert died. In the end, the teleportation stone had been left in this place. Thinking about it, this was still possible. Besides that, there was something else worth thinking about. If there was a teleportation stone here, was there some kind of trap? But no matter what, Lin Feng wanted to go in and take a look. He needed the teleportation stone. He desperately wanted to go to the Supreme Divine Court to take a look. "Everyone, be careful," Lin Feng reminded them. "Okay." Tao Tai and Wu Shuren nodded. They naturally had to be careful when entering such a place. Who knew if there were any terrifying dangers inside? Sometimes, when they encountered some danger, they would be caught off guard by the danger. Even if they had some powerful techniques, they might die before they could use them. Lin Feng and the others entered the cave and carefully walked inside. The cave emitted a gloomy and terrifying aura. The deeper they went, the more obvious the aura became. Finally, they entered a huge cave abode. When they entered, the surrounding black fog rolled. Gloomy laughter came from the black fog. Black fog cultivator. Lin Feng was surprised. Although many living beings could appear together with the black fog, it was impossible for them to do so. However, the aura of the black fog cultivator was very special. Lin Feng clearly remembered what the aura of the black fog cultivator was like. He was sure that the existence hidden in the black fog was a creature of the black fog race. Kikik, I didn't think that someone would recognize us before we even showed up. Strange laughter came. Then, 5 cultivators walked out of the black fog. They were 5 black fog cultivators. They were so thin that only skin and bones were left. They must have been short of nutrients for too long. That was why they had become like this. No matter what, they are still from the Black Fog clan. Why are they so miserable? Lin Feng said sarcastically. The lips of the 5 cultivators from the Black Fog tribe twitched slightly. The leading cultivator from the Black Fog tribe said sinisterly, "Kid, you're about to die, and you still dare to mock us?" Lin Feng sneered and asked, "Are you trapped here?" But before we came in, we didn't sense any restrictive power. It's a curse. We've been cursed. Once you leave this place, your soul will disperse. However, there is a way to break the curse. As long as each of us can eat the flesh of 100 cultivators, our curse will be broken. Right now, I only need 3 more people to complete the curse. Once I eat all of you, I'll capture a large number of cultivators and let them eat those cultivators. Then, they'll be able to break free. The leader of the Black Fog tribe said sinisterly. Wu Xiuren said with a gloomy expression, "Was the jade talisman I obtained earlier, which recorded that there was a teleportation stone here, also your doing?" The leader of the Black Fog tribe said, "We were the ones who sent the jade talisman out, but there really is a teleportation stone here. We didn't lie to anyone. It's just that anyone who comes here to look for a teleportation stone ends up dead." As soon as he finished speaking, the 5 Black Fog tribe cultivators emitted extremely terrifying auras. When Lin Feng sensed their auras, his expression changed slightly. "Are you Black Fog tribe cultivators who crossed an epoch and resolved the fall in your cultivation? Or are you Black Fog tribe cultivators born in this epoch?" Lin Feng asked. The leader of the Black Fog tribe laughed strangely and said, "Of course we crossed an epoch and resolved the fall in our cultivation. How powerful were we, the 5 heroes of the Black Fog tribe, back then? However, we were schemed against by an ancient saint emperor of the human race, and were trapped here for countless years. We hate you. We hate the human race. Kid, when it's time for me to eat you, I'll start with you." The leader of the Black Fog tribe said bitterly. The 5 cultivators of the Black Fog clan threw themselves at Lin Feng and the 2 others. Wu Xiuren's expression was bitter. Although his cultivation wasn't bad and he had a few hidden trump cards, he wasn't a match for these 5 Black Fog tribe cultivators. Wu Xiuren said, "Let's think of a way to escape." Lin Feng said, "No need." He waved his hand. The Book of the Dead flew out. Lin Feng's divine will connected with the Book of the Dead. He summoned all 40 Sage Realm undead creatures from the inner world of the Book of the Dead. Roar. After Lin Feng summoned the 40 undead, they all roared and growled. Their auras were terrifying. What's going on? Wu Xiuren was dumbfounded. The 5 Black Fog tribe cultivators stopped in their tracks. They all stopped in their tracks. They were also dumbfounded. But soon, the 5 Black Fog tribe cultivators realized what was going on. They couldn't help but reveal a horrified expression on their faces. They were indeed very powerful. However, no matter how powerful they were, their blood chi had collapsed because they hadn't been able to absorb any nutrients for many years. Although they still had their strength, their combat strength had declined greatly due to the collapse of their blood chi. If they were facing 7 or 8 undead, it wouldn't be a problem. However, 40 undead were too many. The 5 Black Fog tribe cultivators quickly retreated, but the cave was only so big. There was nowhere to run. "Kill them," Lin Feng ordered, and the 40 undead charged towards the 5 Black Fog tribe cultivators. "You're bullying us with numbers. This isn't fair." One of the Black Fog tribe cultivators shouted. "This world has always been unfair," Lin Feng said. "I want to fight you one-on-one. Do you dare? If I win, you'll spare my life." Another cultivator from the Black Fog tribe shouted. Lin Feng said, "I don't like to fight one-on-one. I prefer to beat people up as a group." "You don't even dare to fight one-on-one? You're a coward," the Black Fog tribe cultivator said angrily. Lin Feng said, "Coward? I can lead a group of subordinates to beat you up. Why would I fight you one-on-one? If I agreed, wouldn't I be an idiot? The group of undead launched a powerful attack. The 5 Black Fog tribe cultivators were quickly suppressed by the undead. Lin Feng had deliberately ordered this. Lin Feng didn't want the Black Fog tribe cultivators to die too quickly. Lin Feng also wanted to search their souls to see if he could find any useful information. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5484. Let us go. Let us go. We can't accept this. The 5 cultivators from the Black Fog tribe roared angrily. They kept struggling, but no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't break free. Now, the 5 of them had become prisoners, which made them very angry. If they had been defeated fair and square, they wouldn't have anything to say. However, they had been attacked by a group of Sage Realm undead creatures. Many of their powerful techniques had been suppressed before they had a chance to use them. It was too humiliating. When had they ever been so humiliated in their lives? The 5 cultivators from the Black Fog tribe couldn't accept this at all. You are all creatures who have transcended epochs, yet you have the nerve to say such words. This world is very cruel. Everyone will only remember the victors. No one will remember the losers. What's the use of being unconvinced? You are just a group of losers. You are destined to be forgotten by history. Lin Feng looked at the 5 cultivators mockingly. Brat, you will die a horrible death. One of the cultivators from the Black Fog tribe cursed loudly. Pooh! Lin Feng waved his hand and beheaded the cultivator. Then, Lin Feng took the cultivator's soul. He took out the heavenly fire. The blazing heavenly fire enveloped the soul of the Black Fog tribe cultivator. The soul of the Black Fog tribe cultivator immediately let out an incomparably shrill scream. His screams were even more ear-piercing and unpleasant than the cries of malicious ghosts. Kill me! Hurry up and kill me! The soul of the Black Fog tribe cultivator begged loudly. He had even experienced something like crossing epochs. He had seen too many storms and waves. However, at this moment, he was frightened by Lin Feng. In his eyes, Lin Feng wasn't a young human cultivator at all. He was a demon. Kill you? That's too easy for you. I want you to live a life worse than death. Lin Feng laughed coldly. Then, he put the heavenly fire wrapped around the cultivator's soul into the 4 ferocious cauldron. The show had just begun. We're willing to submit. As long as you don't kill us, we'll submit. The leader of the Black Fog tribe looked at Lin Feng in horror. Under the eaves, one had no choice but to lower one's head. Moreover, they were now Lin Feng's prisoners. Were they alive or dead? It was all up to Lin Feng. They wanted to live. They didn't want to die. Who would want to die if they could live? In front of dignity and life. They chose life. Answer whatever I ask, said Lin Feng. Lin Feng said, we'll only tell you if you spare our lives. Otherwise, we won't say anything. A cultivator from the Black Fog tribe said. Lin Feng sneered and used a soul-searching technique on the Black Fog cultivator. However, Lin Feng soon stopped. Restriction. He found a very well-hidden restriction in the Black Fog tribe cultivator's mind. That was why Lin Feng stopped in time. If he used a soul-searching technique on the Black Fog tribe cultivator, he might activate the restriction in the depths of his mind. At that time, his soul would immediately shatter and he would die. This wasn't something Lin Feng wanted to see. However, Lin Feng didn't plan on letting him go. Lin Feng smashed the cultivator's head with his palm. Then, he imprisoned his soul. Heavenly fire appeared. It wrapped around his soul. The soul of the Black Fog tribe cultivator also let out an incomparably shrill cry of agony. Torture of the soul was the most terrible torture. It was 100 times more painful than physical torture. Heavenly fire burning the soul is worse than death. Do you want to have a taste of this? Lin Feng looked at the last 3 Black Fog tribe cultivators. They quickly shook their heads. Remember my words. You don't have the right to negotiate with me. So, you have to answer whatever I ask. Lin Feng said coldly. Yes, yes, yes. The 3 Black Fog tribe cultivators quickly said. Where is the Black Fog tribe's headquarters? Lin Feng asked. The Xin Huang chaotic world. The leader of the Black Fog tribe cultivators said. Lin Feng was surprised. The Undying Tribe's headquarters was in the Xinhuang chaotic world. The Black Fog Tribe's headquarters was also in the Xinhuang chaotic world. Did that mean that the Black Robe Tribe, or some other top Lost Epics tribes, had their headquarters in the Xinhuang chaotic world? Is the Nine Heavens God-burying coffin the Black Fog Tribe's ultimate treasure? Lin Feng asked. Lin Feng had found out some information about his mother. His mother, Ji Long-er, had been suppressed by the Nine Heavens God-burying coffin in the depths of the Starry Sky world. Lin Feng had heard that the Black Fog Tribe cultivators were the ones who had taken action back then. However, it seemed that some Black Robe Tribe cultivators had also participated. However, there seemed to be people from the Black Hand world behind the scenes. Lin Feng wanted to confirm the information about the Nine Heavens God-burying coffin. It belongs to our tribe. It's in the God-burying starfield. The Black Fog Tribe cultivator on the left said, "The God-burying starfield? It's such an important ultimate treasure. Didn't your Black Fog Tribe bring it to your ancestral land?" Lin Feng asked, puzzled. "We couldn't bring it there." The Black Fog Tribe cultivator on the right said, "The Nine Heavens God-burying coffin is our tribe's ultimate treasure, but it wasn't created by us. It's a treasure we obtained by chance. The Nine Heavens God-burying coffin has been in the depths of that star since the beginning of this epoch. Our tribe tried to take it away, but we failed every time. In the end, we gave up. Later on, we sealed some important criminals in the Nine Heavens God-burying coffin." "Oh? Sealed in the Nine Heavens God-burying coffin? Is there something special about the inside of the Nine Heavens God-burying coffin?" asked Lin Feng. Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. The inside of the Nine Heavens God-burying coffin is very special. It's a world of its own. It's extremely dangerous. The reason why we sealed some important criminals in the Nine Heavens God-burying coffin is to lure their clansmen to save them. No matter how strong they are, they'll die without a doubt. In the past, some cultivators who surpassed the Saint Realm entered the Nine Heavens God-burying coffin to save people, but they all died in the end. The leader of the Black Fog Tribe said, "What?" Lin Feng was shocked. His face turned ugly. The Nine Heavens God-burying coffin was a huge trap that had buried countless strong cultivators. Going to save people was like walking into a trap. Had his father reached the Nine Heavens God-burying coffin? If his father had already reached the Nine Heavens God-burying coffin and tried to save his mother, did that mean that his father would also be in danger? Thinking about that, Lin Feng's face turned even uglier. "How do I get to the God-burying starfield?" Lin Feng asked gloomily. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5485. In QQ reading, this speed can be ranked in the top 3. Previously, when we updated 7 times a day, we were ranked first. Now, I'm sure everyone knows the reason why we update 5 times a day. Firstly, in the later stages of the book, there are too many holes to fill in, so we need to think and fill in the holes. If we write too quickly, we might ruin the most important part of the content at the back. Secondly, in order to survive, Old Mantu started a new book. Every morning, he would wake up at 7 a.m. and write until 11 p.m. or even early in the morning. He would overwork for more than 10 hours a day. It was all for the sake of earning more money for milk powder for his children. As a first-time father, he had to spend money everywhere. The pressure was too great. Brothers, everyone, please move your fingers and bookmark Devouring the Heavens on QQ Reading or your phone's QQ Reading Center. Old Mantu begs everyone. I've already updated 3 chapters today. There are still 2 more chapters. I'll write them now and post them together. Once again, I beg everyone to bookmark Old Mantu's new book, Devouring the Heavens. Chapter 5486. If he could find the buried god's starfield, he would be able to find the place where his mother was sealed. Lin Feng really wanted to know the ancient star map to the buried god's starfield. The leader of the Black Fog race said, "Which world are you in?" "The Undying world," Lin Feng said. The leader of the Black Fog race smiled bitterly and said, "We only know the ancient star map from the Chaos Xinhuang world to the buried god starfield. We don't know the route from the Undying world to the buried god starfield." Hearing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. Are you lying to me?
Lin Feng asked coldly.
Of course not. We wouldn't dare lie to you. The leader of the Black Fog race quickly said. Actually, Lin Feng felt that the leader of the Black Fog race wasn't lying. The situation, it should be as he said. He really didn't know the exact route. This was troublesome. Maybe he could go to the Undying World to find out? Tell me the ancient star map from the Chaos Xinhuang world to the Buried God Starfield. Lin Feng said. How could the leader of the Black Fog race dare to go against Lin Feng? Just as he was about to tell Lin Feng. But at that moment, a ball of black fog floated out of the head of the Black Fog race cultivator. The ball of black fog turned into an existence shrouded in darkness. Sir, when they saw the existence, the 3 Black Fog race cultivators cried out in fear. You said something you shouldn't have. The existence in the darkness said coldly. Sir, we had no choice. Please spare our lives. The leader of the Black Fog race begged. It's useless. You deserve to die. The existence in darkness said coldly. The next moment, something terrible happened. The bodies of the 3 Black Fog race cultivators instantly dried up. In the blink of an eye, they turned into dried corpses. Strange. It was really too strange. As for the existence shrouded in darkness, it grew flesh and blood. After seeing this, Lin Feng's expression couldn't help but become serious. This existence seemed to be just a strand of divine will. Unexpectedly, did it instantly devour the flesh and blood of 3 Black Fog tribe cultivators and create a new body? This kind of method was truly terrifying enough. Who are you? Lin Feng asked. I am one of the 36 protectors of the Black Fog clan, Protector Tian Shui. The existence shrouded in darkness said. Sky Extermination Protector? I've never heard of it. Is it very famous? Lin Feng curled his lips and said. Hearing Lin Feng's mocking voice, the Sky Extermination Protector's face immediately became extremely gloomy. He said coldly, Brat, if you haven't heard of me, that's because you're ignorant. Let me tell you, I'm an existence that transcends 2 epochs. Hearing this, the expressions of Lin Feng and the others changed slightly. Generally speaking, those cultivators who had crossed an epoch were basically Sage Realm cultivators. Moreover, it was very likely that they were high-level Sage Realm cultivators. What was the cultivation level of crossing 2 epochs? Was it an existence that had surpassed the Saint Realm? It was really possible. What was the realm beyond the Sage Realm? Lin Feng really didn't know, because, in theory, the Sage Realm was the peak of a cultivator's cultivation level. Of course, there were some heaven-defying cultivators who managed to surpass it. In the end, they stepped into a new world of cultivation. That was the existence beyond the Sage Realm. Hee, now you know how strong I am. The Sky Extermination Protector naturally saw the changes in the expressions of Lin Feng and the others. He couldn't help but feel somewhat proud. Strong, indeed. But so what? No matter how strong you are, you can't show yourself now. Right now, you're not in your true body. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Said Lin Feng with a cold smile. Little boy, I've swallowed the flesh and blood of the 3 traitors to create this body. Even though this body can't last for a long time, it's enough to kill you in a short period of time. After saying that, the Sky Extermination Protector directly charged towards Lin Feng. Get rid of this guy. Lin Feng waved his hand and gave an order to the 40 undead creatures of the Sage Realm. After receiving Lin Feng's order, the 40 undead creatures of the Sage Realm quickly charged towards the Sky Extermination Protector. Bang, 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 bang. Along with the violent collision sounds, the undead creatures were sent flying by the Sky Extermination Protector. These undead creatures couldn't stop the Sky Extermination Protector. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng's face couldn't help but sink slightly. Isn't the Sky Extermination Protector too strong? He's simply invincible. Ha ha ha, brat, did you see that? Although your undead slaves are strong, if I want to kill you, they can't stop me at all. The Sky Extermination Protector laughed proudly. He was getting closer and closer to Lin Feng. He couldn't continue like that, because the Tianja Demapolas was too strong. If he was attacked, it would really be a dead end. Now, he had to find a way to solve the current situation. However, how to solve it? Suddenly, Lin Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. Lin Feng discovered something. The Sky Extermination Protector was condensed from flesh and blood essence. This was not a real body of flesh and blood. It wasn't as strong as a body of flesh and blood. If this body was broken, it might be able to cause a devastating blow to the Sky Extermination Protector. Lin Feng felt that this should be a way to try. Thinking of this, Lin Feng decided to give it a try. He began to operate the curse technique. Lin Feng's curse technique with the help of the curse mudman had actually increased the success rate by a large margin. After Lin Feng activated it 3 times in a row, the curse technique finally hurt the complacent Sky Extermination Protector. Puff. The sound of a body being pierced through was heard. A bloody hole appeared on the Sky Extermination Protector's chest. Blood immediately gushed out. Feeling the pain in his chest, the Sky Extermination Protector lowered his head and looked at his chest. When he saw the bloody hole, the Sky Extermination Protector couldn't help but roar unwillingly, "Damn it! How could this be?" His body began to dismember. Lin Feng took a deep breath. Just as he had guessed, he had managed to injure the physical body. The Sky Extermination Protector was finished. Now, he was finally out of danger. "Brat, I will remember you. I will definitely kill you with my own hands." The Sky Extermination Protector coldly looked at Lin Feng, his eyes flashing with killing intent. Lin Feng sneered and said, "Sky Extermination Protector, remember this. I will not only kill you, but I will also destroy your Black Fog clan. In your dreams." The Sky Extermination Protector looked at Lin Feng with a mocking gaze. He was full of disdain for Lin Feng's words. In the next moment, his body completely disintegrated. Lin Feng sneered and said, "Sky Extermination Protector, let's wait and see. Please remember the domain name of this book, mobile version of reading website." Chapter 5487. The Taodai said, Little Lin, what I admire most about you is your confidence. In the future, when you go to destroy the Black Fog tribe, you must take me with you." Lin Feng said, "Of course, that's not a problem. The Black Fog tribe has existed for many epochs without being destroyed. You can imagine how many treasures they've collected. After we destroy them, we can plunder as many treasures as we want." The Taoye's eyes suddenly lit up. "That's great. Now that you mention it, I can't wait to destroy the Black Fog tribe." Wu Xuren couldn't help but smile bitterly. The Black Fog tribe was a terrifying tribe. Lin Feng and the Taodai didn't care about the Black Fog tribe at all. They even talked about plundering the Black Fog tribe's treasures. The hole in their heads was really big. Lin Feng sent all the undead into the world of the Book of the Dead. Then, they looked at the palms of the dead Black Fog tribe cultivators. They all had storage rings. Lin Feng took their storage rings. There were a total of 5 storage rings. He wondered what was inside. He used his divine will to investigate. There were quite a lot of good things. There were 3 sacred artifacts. There were more than 20 immortal artifacts, as well as various other treasures. However, there were no natural treasures or immortal stones. After all, these guys had been trapped here for a long time. They had already eaten everything that could replenish their energy. Lin Feng found a total of 15 teleportation stones in the mountain of various items. Everything. Lin Feng divided them into 3. However, the Taodai only took 1 sacred artifact. The rest were given to Lin Feng. That meant that Lin Feng already had 12 teleportation stones. Because of Lin Feng, the Taodai and Wu Xuren were together. If Wu Xuren's 5 teleportation stones were included, they had a total of 17 teleportation stones. I wonder how many teleportation stones are needed to construct a teleportation array. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. Wu Xuren replied, "I know of 2 teleportation channels. The first requires 49 teleportation channels, and the second requires 64 teleportation channels. Large-scale teleportation portals require even more. I don't know how to set them up, but if you want to teleport the 3 of us, this kind of small teleportation portal is very suitable. But I don't recommend using 49 teleportation stones because 9 is an unknown number, especially if we want to go to the godly court. We have to avoid 9. If we get unlucky because of this, we won't be able to cry even if we want to." I'm more inclined to use 64 teleportation stones to set up a teleportation formation. The reason I'm inclined to do so is because the word 64 is extraordinary. It contains the image of the 8 trigrams, and it will definitely protect us. Hearing Wu Xuren's words, Lin Feng could not help secretly admiring him. Wu Xuren knew a lot of things, and what he said was very reasonable. Lin Feng agreed with his words. Lin Feng said, "Let's set up the teleportation channel that Brother Wu mentioned, which costs 64 teleportation stones. We still lack a lot of teleportation stones." Wu Xuren frowned slightly. Tao Tai nodded and said, "Teleportation stones are very difficult to find. I don't know where we can find them." "It doesn't matter. We can rob them. Maybe many people don't have them, but if we rob enough people, someone will definitely have a teleportation stone." Lin Feng smiled like a demon. Rob them? Tao Tai and Wu Xuren both had dumbfounded expressions on their faces. Lin Feng's way of thinking, it really wasn't something that ordinary people could guess. Wu Xuren said, "Those who can come here must have a great power behind them. If we really rob them, I'm afraid we'll incur their wrath. You can imagine how terrible the consequences will be." Wu Xuren couldn't help but shiver when he thought of that. Lin Feng said, "Let's go to a different place. After we're done, we'll go to the godly court, obtain an opportunity, and then run away. Of course, if Brother Wu doesn't want to leave this world, you can pretend you didn't hear me." Wu Xuren thought for a moment, then gritted his teeth and said, "There's nothing to miss in this world. If we can enter the godly court, it'll be the greatest opportunity in life. Okay, let's go rob the cultivators of those great powers." After reaching an agreement, the three of them couldn't help but laugh. Before they went to carry out the robbery plan, Lin Feng decided to go to the endless sea of flames to find the heavenly flames hidden there. Refining the heavenly flames. The benefits were endless. Lin Feng couldn't wait to refine the heavenly flames in the endless sea of flames, although he still didn't know what kind of heavenly flame it was. Lin Feng and the other two arrived at the periphery of the endless sea of flames. The endless sea of flames. As far as the eye could see, it was completely covered by the flames. After arriving, Lin Feng didn't rashly enter. He tried to use his own heavenly flames to sense where the heavenly flames were hidden in the endless sea of flames. However, after sensing for a while, he didn't find anything. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. Could it be the heavenly flames in the endless sea of flames? Was there a heavenly flame spirit? If there was a heavenly flame spirit, it would be extremely terrifying. If that was the case, it would be troublesome. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. At that moment, many cultivators flew over from afar. "We're here. This is the endless sea of flames. I wonder what's going on inside. Let's go and take a look." The cultivators whispered a few times, then flew into the endless sea of flames. As soon as they flew into the endless sea of flames, many more people flew over. Those cultivators also flew into the endless sea of flames. Did the news about the heavenly flames leak out? Otherwise, why would so many people come? The Taodai asked, puzzled. That, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. He looked into the distance and immediately discovered that there were still many cultivators arriving one after another. Lin Feng decided to find someone to ask what was going on. He didn't think the news about the heavenly flames had leaked out. After all, only the three of them should know about the heavenly flames. Of course, he couldn't rule out the possibility that someone had entered the endless sea of flames and seen the heavenly flames and spread the news. Lin Feng stopped a cultivator and asked. After a while, he received a shocking piece of news. The first fire god, Zhu Rong. He died in the endless sea of flames. So many cultivators had arrived. They were all here to find the fire god Zhu Rong's legacy. Please remember the domain name of this book, mobile version of reading website. Chapter 5488. The first fire god, Zhu Rong, was a Khanate life form. It was said that he was the first life form born from flames. He was one of the earliest Khanate life forms. Therefore, the first fire god, Zhu Rong, was extremely terrifying. In his earliest days, he became a god in the hearts of countless life forms. The reason was that the first fire god, Zhu Rong, had the ability to control flames. He brought flames to a race that had just been born. This was a powerhouse that could be compared to Pangu, Nuwa, and other existences. No one knew exactly how powerful the legacy of a Tao orthodoxy was. Come, let's go in and take a look, Lin Feng said. Tao Dai and Wu Xiaoran nodded and flew into the endless sea of fire with Lin Feng. Tao Dai said, I heard that the first fire god was an awesome figure. Lin Feng nodded and said, yes, the first fire god was terrifying. According to the rumors, the first fire god seemed to be the incarnation of the Scarlet Emperor. Scarlet Emperor was a title. It was the incarnation of the Tao. The Scarlet Emperor of Fire was a god formed from the Tao of Fire. This kind of great Tao god was very special and was very different from a titled god. It would not be passed down. It wasn't something that could casually appear. Many great Tao gods often had historical prototypes. For example, Lin Feng cultivated the flame escape technique. After cultivating it to the peak, he could condense the Scarlet Emperor's phantom. Who was this Scarlet Emperor condensed from a divine ability? It was most likely the fire god, Zhurong. The fire god, Zhurong, left behind many good things. This was because the fire god, Zhurong, liked to refine magic treasures. And the fire god, Zhurong, was a figure from the beginning of the era. At that time, resources were abundant. All kinds of resources could be found. All kinds of materials for refining magic treasures could also be found. Therefore, the fire god, Zhurong, refined many top-grade magic treasures. For example, the wind fire wheel, fire gourd, fire seal, fire sword, fire god shield, fire bow, and other supreme treasures. They were all treasures refined by the fire god. Each of these treasures was more powerful than the last. Among them, the most powerful one was the Scarlet Emperor Sword. It was rumored that the Scarlet Emperor Sword was comparable to an ancient weapon. It was the Emperor of Swords. In addition, the Fire God's legacy was also very terrifying. The Fire God created 3 Immortal Sutras. The first type of Immortal Sutra was called Ask Immortal Tao Sutra. The second Immortal Scripture was called the Fire God Law. The third Immortal Scripture was called the Scarlet Emperor Immortal Scripture. It recorded the Scarlet Emperor's understanding of the Great Tao, as well as some of the Scarlet Emperor's powerful inheritances and so on. Why did cultivators have to cultivate Immortal Sutras? In fact, many people thought that cultivators cultivated the Immortal Sutra in order to increase their understanding of the Great Tao. At the same time, they could also learn the many magical abilities recorded in the Immortal Sutra. But in fact, there was an extremely important matter. Many people didn't know. If he wanted to surpass the Saint Realm, he would need to use the Immortal Scripture as a foundation. Only then would he be able to establish a good foundation of the Great Tao. What was an Immortal Sutra? This was the Tao. Therefore, cultivators had to cultivate more Immortal Sutras in order to build a good foundation. It was like building a house. If the foundation is not stable, is it possible to build a skyscraper with hundreds of floors? Therefore, cultivating the Immortal Sutra was too important. In fact, no one, not even Lin Feng, knew about this. Lin Feng liked to collect top-level Immortal Sutras to cultivate because he felt that after cultivating those top-level Immortal Sutras, he could increase his understanding of the Great Tao. It would allow him to come into contact with more top-level magical abilities. As for surpassing the Sage Realm, one needed to use the Immortal Sutra to build a foundation. No one told Lin Feng about this, so Lin Feng naturally didn't know about it. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Along the way, there were many cultivators flying quickly towards the depths. It seemed that there were quite a lot of people who knew about the place where the fire god fell. However, Lin Feng and the other 2 were still leisurely. In Lin Feng's opinion, how could the fire god's inheritance be so easy to obtain? If it was so easy to obtain the fire god's inheritance, the fire god's inheritance would have been taken by others long ago and wouldn't have been left until now. Therefore, there was no need to be so anxious. The early bird might not necessarily get the worm to eat. Lin Feng and the other 2 arrived at the place where the fire god Zhurong fell. They discovered that it was a huge mountain range in the Fire Sea world. The entire mountain range was enveloped in flames. The flames burned fiercely, and the void was distorted. Many cultivators lingered in the surroundings, not daring to rashly enter. The laws of heaven and earth have been changed, the Taodai said in surprise. Lin Feng nodded and said, fire burning heaven and earth is indeed terrifying. It changed the laws of heaven and earth here. It seems that the fire god Zhurong really fell in this place. I'm only concerned about whether we can obtain any opportunities. Wu Shuren said, let's wait and see. Lin Feng said, since no one is willing to take action, I'll be the one to take the lead. Someone said. Everyone looked over and saw the person who spoke. The person who spoke was majestic and burly. He was at least 3 meters tall and was surrounded by flames. Sacred Flame, Divine Lord. After seeing this expert, many people exclaimed. It seemed that many people recognized the identity of this cultivator. Of course, there were also many people who did not recognize this cultivator. They asked the cultivators beside them, wanting to know the origin of this cultivator. At that moment, a cultivator said, hee, that guy is no ordinary person. He's an expert from the Sacred Flame race. You should have heard of them, right? They're a race that was born in flames. They're very powerful and have been passed down to this day. They're quite powerful in the western region of the time reversal world. So it's the Sacred Flame race. The cultivators of this race are born with the ability to control flames. If he enters, he might be able to obtain something amazing. Someone said, be careful. An old man who was also surrounded by flames said. There were dozens of cultivators surrounded by flames standing there. They were probably cultivators from the Sacred Flame race. Their auras were deep and powerful. The Sacred Flame Divine Lord said, don't worry. Nothing will happen. As soon as he finished speaking, he flew toward the mountain range. When he reached the center, he landed in the middle of the mountain range. The flames were still burning fiercely. Everyone was anxiously waiting for news. Some members of the Sacred Flame race had grave expressions. They were quite confident in the Sacred Flame Divine Lord. However, the place that the Sacred Flame Divine Lord had gone to was too terrifying. Therefore, they could not help but be worried about the Sacred Flame Divine Lord. Buzz. About 2 hours later, there was a violent fluctuation in the Flame Mountain range. Everyone looked toward the Flame Mountain range. They saw the Sacred Flame Divine Lord soar into the sky. What's that in his hand? When they saw the thing in the Sacred Flame Divine Lord's hand, many people could not help but exclaim. Genius. 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5489. The item in the Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven's hand was actually a treasure shrouded in flames. However, no one knew what the treasure was. It was impossible to see what the treasure was. However, the Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven had already rushed into the sky. Soon, he would be able to fly out. At that time, everyone would know what the treasure in his hand was. The Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven's harvest is too great. It's a pity that I don't have the same means as the Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven. Otherwise, I would also enter the mountain range to explore. Perhaps I could also obtain an opportunity. Many people couldn't help but discuss. The cultivators of the Sacred Flame race cheered. The Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven had obtained an opportunity. Naturally, it was great news for their race. If the opportunity was shocking enough, it could even strengthen the foundation of their race. However, at that moment, something strange happened. Tumbling flames surged from the mountain range to the sky and swept towards the Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven. The Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven had a proud expression after obtaining a treasure. But now, the Divine Flame Lord's expression changed drastically. He flew to a higher place, hoping to avoid the flames that were sweeping towards him. However, the Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven failed. Flames. In an instant, the flames engulfed the Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven. Then, the flames swept the Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven into the mountain range. No. The Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven's frightened voice came from the mountain range. Many people couldn't help but look at each other. Did the Sacred Flame Lord of Heaven suffer a calamity? What happened just now? Everyone was puzzled. They didn't know what had happened. Especially the flames that surged out, swept across the world, and swallowed everything. What was going on? Damn it! The cultivators of the Sacred Flame race couldn't help but have an ugly expression. The sacred flame lord of heaven had obtained an opportunity and was about to come out with it. However, in the end, he suffered a calamity. This made the cultivators of the sacred flame race very angry. Their eyes were extremely cold. However, they could only watch helplessly as the sacred flame lord of heaven suffered a calamity. The place where the fire god Zhurong fell is no small matter. It's not that easy to take the things left behind by the fire god Zhurong. Someone sighed. Without some special means, I'm afraid it's impossible to obtain the fire god Zhurong's inheritance. Another cultivator said. It was indeed as these cultivators had said. The place where fire god Zhurong fell was filled with unknown and terrifying dangers, and obtaining the fortune here was simply as difficult as ascending the heavens. But there were still people who wanted to give it a try. This was a cultivator shrouded in sacred light. Heavenly human cultivator. Some people were shocked. The other party's origin was too shocking. He was actually a cultivator from the celestial race. There was an 80% chance that he was from the celestial realm. One should know that the lords of the 33 heavens were basically cultivators from the celestial race or the immortal race. The cultivators of the heavenly human tribe possessed many unimaginable methods. Perhaps the cultivators of the heavenly human tribe could really do it. A holy light barrier formed around the heavenly human tribe cultivator. The holy light barrier protected his body. He quickly flew towards the mountain range. In the blink of an eye, he was engulfed in flames. Not long after, everyone heard a shocked voice coming from the mountain range. It was the voice of that celestial race cultivator. It was unknown what he had discovered in the mountain range that caused him to be so shocked and moved. Could it be that he's going to obtain a fortuitous opportunity? It's obvious that there should be a lot of fortuitous opportunities inside. I just don't know if those fortuitous opportunities are related to the fire god Zhurong. If he can obtain the fortuitous opportunity inside, he'll have a meteoric rise. Many cultivators sighed with emotion. They really wanted to enter the mountain range to search for the fortuitous opportunity. But unfortunately, they didn't have the ability to do so. Everyone continued to wait. Although they knew that they couldn't enter the mountain range to search for the fortuitous opportunity, they still wanted to see what kind of fortuitous opportunity that celestial race cultivator could obtain. Some of the major powers even planned to attack the heavenly human tribe cultivators and rob them of their belongings. The celestial race was indeed very powerful, but this was a world where time had reversed. Some cultivators might not necessarily be afraid of the celestial race. No, just as everyone was waiting for the celestial race cultivator to obtain the fortuitous opportunity and come out, the celestial race cultivator's terrified voice suddenly came from the mountain range. Then, the voice suddenly stopped. The celestial race cultivator's voice disappeared. Did he die as well? Someone couldn't help but gulp. The celestial race cultivator was such a powerful existence. Yet, he had also died. This was too terrifying. What exactly was in the mountain range? Why did two powerful cultivators die one after another? And no one even knew what had happened. Everything was too strange. At this moment, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. The mountain range where the fire god had died was indeed a little strange. It made one's heart palpitate. Who knew what was going on inside? However, even with such danger, many large factions still didn't give up. They were still bitterly trying to come up with a countermeasure. They didn't want to give up just like that. That was the legacy of the fire god Zhurong. If they could obtain it, the benefits would be unimaginable. If they gave up just like that, they would be very unwilling to give up.
Cough, cough.
At this moment, a cough was heard. Everyone turned their heads to look. Dozens of cultivators flew over from afar. The one who coughed was an old man. That old man had a white beard and a skinny body. His eyes were also extremely turbid. Obviously, half of that old man's body was already buried in the ground. Moreover, Lin Feng even felt an aura of death from that old man. That old man really wasn't far from death, unless he could find an extremely heaven-defying opportunity to break through again. Or else, he would definitely die. Lin Feng knew this, and that old man must also know this. Therefore, that old man must have come here to look for opportunities. It's Xue Tiankue. I didn't expect him to still be alive. Someone recognized the old man's identity and couldn't help but gasp. What? He's Shui Tiankue? Many people were shocked. This was an extremely powerful existence in the world where time had been turned back. It was almost impossible to cross between regions. However, it was said that Shui Tiankue had crossed all regions. He had traveled all over the world where time had been turned back. Just this point alone showed how terrifying Shui Tiankue was. This person definitely had heaven-defying means. However, it was rumored that he had died a few years ago. Who would have thought that he was still alive? Therefore, when they saw Shui Tiankue arrive, many people were extremely surprised. The mountain range where the fire god fell is filled with danger. But today, this old man wants to experience the dangers inside and see if they can bury this old man. Shui Tiankue's old voice sounded. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile version of reading website. Chapter 5490. Shui Tiankue's strength was unfathomable, and he was about to enter the mountain range. Many people felt that Shui Tiankue might really be able to bring out some good things from there. Shui Tiankue was too strong, and the two cultivators from before couldn't compare to him. We wish the ancestor a smooth return, the people behind Shui Tiankue said in unison. It seemed that they were very confident in Shui Tiankue. Shui Tiankue nodded. He didn't stay for long. He flew directly towards the mountain range, and soon, endless flames tried to devour Shui Tiankue. Open! Shouted Shui Tiankue coldly. With him as the center, a powerful wave of qi was formed, and the qi wave parted the flames that were trying to devour him. Shui Tiankue's method was very powerful, and it caused many people to cry out in surprise. I've seen this old guy before, said the Taodai. Lin Feng looked at the Taodai in surprise. You've seen him before? Does that mean the rumors are true? Did he really go to the time reversal world? Said the Taodai. I don't know if the rumors are true, but this old guy really did go to the eastern region. I was still very weak back then, but he was already very strong. Wu Shiren said. His bloodline might have collapsed, but he's really strong. It's amazing. Lin Feng nodded. Shui Tiankue was really strong. This kind of person's application of the Tao was extraordinary. That was the most terrifying thing about him. At the very least, one had to be a high-level saint for many years to have such abilities. If someone had told Lin Feng that Shui Tiankue was a peak saint back then, Lin Feng wouldn't have found it strange. It was just that Shui Tiankue's qi and blood had collapsed, and his cultivation had fallen. At a critical moment, he could still display great battle strength. Shui Tiankue didn't encounter any danger as he went deeper, but as he went deeper, the rolling flames around him became more and more terrifying. Shui Tiankue frowned. Those flames made him feel that they were a little tricky, but they were just a little troublesome, and they couldn't cause him any harm. Suddenly, Shui Tiankue looked surprised. Through the flames, he seemed to see something special. It was in the depths of the mountain range. Because of the flames, he couldn't see it clearly, but Shui Tiankue knew that it had to be something amazing. Maybe it was the opportunity that he was looking for. Thinking of this, Shui Tiankue, the flames around him became more terrifying, to the point where he almost couldn't resist. At that moment, Shui Tiankue took out a top-grade saint artifact. It was a Buddhist treasure, a Buddha statue. The Buddha statue floated above Shui Tiankue and emitted billions of Buddha light. Those Buddhist lights. Tiankue's qi to protect. What a powerful Buddhist magic treasure. And it's a defensive Buddhist magic treasure. 222 to Shui Tiankue. 2. 2-2 to able to be to Lin when the powerful flames swept over. They were all blocked by the Buddhist magic treasure. To Shui Tiankue to destroy. Zaido Tian. To him too is 2. B. Him, Wu Shiren nodded and said, That's right. His strength is extraordinary, and he has a defensive treasure. It doesn't seem that surprising that he was able to succeed. Lin Feng frowned and said, Something's wrong. I have the impression that something else is going to happen. Let's wait and see. Something will definitely happen. After hearing Lin Feng's words, everyone couldn't help but feel astonished. An unforeseen event would occur. What kind of unforeseen event would occur? Tiankue asked. What do you see? Lin Feng shook his head. I can't see anything. I just feel that something's not right. Young man, don't be an alarmist. a middle-aged cultivator said. Lin Feng smiled. He didn't refute the middle-aged cultivator. He hoped that Shui Tiankue would be fine, because there was more than one opportunity. If Shui Tiankue came out unscathed and obtained an opportunity, it meant that he would be fine. Therefore, Lin Feng had been observing the situation. Shui Tiankue sped up. Ha ha ha. Shui Tiankue saw something in the mountain range, and he started laughing. The ancestor really found an opportunity. That's great. The ancestor found an opportunity. It's very important to our family. Yes, I hope the ancestor can live for countless more eras. The Shui family members were excited. Many people couldn't help but purse their lips. These people were too arrogant. They still hoped that the ancestor could live for countless more eras. It was hard to say if they could survive the Armageddon War of this era. Could they not be so confident? Of course. No matter how much they thought about it, they wouldn't say anything. Who would dare to offend the Shui family? Wouldn't that be courting death? Damn it. At that moment, Shui Tiankue's exasperated voice came from the mountain range. Boom. Next, a terrifying fluctuation spread out. It seemed like a great battle had broken out. Everyone was shocked. Shui Tiankue must have fought with an unknown existence. Previously, the Holy Flame Heaven Lord and the Heavenly Human Powerhouse had fallen. It was very likely that they had been attacked by the unknown existence. Many people were suspicious of this. Now, it seemed that it was true. No one knew what the unknown existence was for the time being. That unknown existence was now attacking Shui Tiankue. However, Shui Tiankue was different from the Holy Flame Heaven Lord and the Heavenly Human Powerhouse. Shui Tiankue was too strong. He wasn't killed immediately. The battle between the two sides was extremely intense. Soon, Shui Tiankue rushed out quickly. He was covered in blood. His injuries were not light. Everyone was shocked. Even a powerful existence like Shui Tiankue wasn't a match for the unknown existence. What kind of existence was the unknown existence? Roar. A low roar echoed through the clouds. Then, everyone saw a terrifying creature rushing out from the flames. That creature had a huge body and a pair of wings. Looking at its body, it looked like a giant flaming bird. However, it had 3 heads. Moreover, those 3 heads were actually dragon heads. Bird body and dragon head. It's the flaming dragon bird. Someone exclaimed, "No, that's not the flaming dragon bird. It's the heavenly fire. It's a terrifying heavenly fire. It is transformed into the flaming dragon bird." An old cultivator shouted in a deep voice. At that moment, the flaming dragon bird transformed from the heavenly fire caught up with Shui Tiankue and swallowed him in one gulp. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5491. Shui Tiankue has been swallowed? Oh my god, even an expert like Shui Tiankue has been swallowed. What are we still standing there for? Hurry up and run. Go, go, go. Hurry up and leave. If you don't leave now, you're dead for sure. Many people cried out in fear. Seeing an expert like Shui Tiankue being swallowed by the flaming dragon bird formed by the skyfire. How could the rest of the people dare to stay? If they stayed, wouldn't they be courting death? I'm going to eat you all. The flaming dragon bird no longer hid its true thoughts. It rushed forward and began to devour the cultivators. Many cultivators were directly swallowed by the flaming dragon bird. They cried and screamed. The casualties were heavy. Although there was no lack of strong cultivators here, they were still nothing compared to the flaming dragon bird, because the flaming dragon bird was too powerful. Moreover, it almost had an immortal body, which was the most terrifying thing about it. The skyfire was already so heaven-defying. Although it was not truly immortal, it was still 90% immortal. You want to kill the skyfire? Are you daydreaming? After the flaming dragon bird swallowed hundreds of people, it looked at Lin Feng with its cold eyes. It quickly flew towards Lin Feng. You guys go out first. I'll deal with it. Lin Feng said. Tao Tai said, how can that be? Let's do it together. Lin Feng grinned and said, no need. I alone am enough to deal with this guy. If I can't, I can escape by myself. Tao Tai felt that this made sense. He did not stay any longer. He quickly left with Wu Xiuren. As the flaming dragon bird was formed from the sky fire, its perception was extremely strong. Although Lin Feng had concealed the aura of the sky fire, he was still discovered by this guy. It would be strange if he wasn't discovered by this guy. Seeing that the flaming dragon bird had targeted an unlucky person, many people mourned for Lin Feng for 3 seconds, then quickly fled outside. As for the magic treasure of the fire god, the inheritance of the orthodoxy, who would want it? In the blink of an eye, the large group of cultivators had all fled. Only Lin Feng was left here. Lin Feng didn't run either. Instead, he waited for the flaming dragon bird to come over. "Aren't you afraid of me?" After the flame dragon bird flew over, it did not immediately attack Lin Feng. Instead, it looked at Lin Feng coldly. Lin Feng said, "If I was afraid of you, would I still be here?" Ha 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 ha. The flaming dragon bird suddenly laughed. "Have you lost your mind? What are you laughing at?" Lin Feng rolled his eyes. The flaming dragon looked at Lin Feng with disdain and said, "I'm laughing at you. What a fool. Do you think you can deal with me?" "Sure." Lin Feng nodded and said, "How ignorant. How idiotic." The flaming dragon bird looked at Lin Feng with disdain. Now, it saw Lin Feng as food. Eat Lin Feng. Lin Feng's heavenly fire would also be swallowed by it. The sky fire devoured the sky fire. It would definitely be very nutritious. It would allow the flaming dragon bird to transform into an even more terrifying existence. Just thinking about it made it excited. "Die, brat." The flaming dragon bird shouted coldly and was about to swallow Lin Feng. Wait. At that moment, Lin Feng suddenly waved his hand and shouted. The flaming dragon bird was stunned. It stopped and said coldly, "What? Do you have any last words?" Lin Feng asked, "You've turned into a flaming dragon bird, but I still don't know what your true body is. Which heavenly fire are you among the 72 heavenly fires?" The flaming dragon bird didn't expect Lin Feng to ask such a question. It was actually a little doubtful. This guy was on the verge of death. He actually cared about what heavenly fire it was. Was he stupid? Was he retarded? It didn't look like it. The flaming dragon bird said, "There's no harm in telling you. I'm the 14th heavenly fire, Nirvana heavenly fire." Nirvana heavenly fire? What kind of heavenly fire is that? Does it have any special abilities? Lin Feng couldn't help but ask. Lin Feng only knew a portion of the 72 heavenly fires. However, Nirvana heavenly fire's ranking was quite high. It was ranked 14th. A heavenly fire with such a high ranking must be very powerful, right? Nirvana heavenly fire is formed by absorbing the power of Nirvana from the universe. You should have some understanding of the power of Nirvana, right? It's a terrifying attack power. Therefore, although Nirvana heavenly fire is only ranked 14th, many of the top 10 heavenly fires can't even compare to it in terms of attack power. Oh, it's that powerful? Lin Feng's eyes lit up. "Brat, you can die now." The flaming dragon bird sneered and charged at Lin Feng again. "7 heavenly fires, come out." Lin Feng waved his hand. All 7 heavenly fires flew out. "You actually have 7 heavenly fires." The flaming dragon bird was shocked. This was indeed something to be shocked about. Obtaining 1 heavenly fire was as difficult as ascending to the heavens, let alone 7 heavenly fires. But soon, the flaming draconic bird revealed an excited expression. As far as the flaming dragon bird was concerned, Lin Feng was like a turtle in a jar. Lin Feng would die without a doubt. How could he fight it? So what if he had 7 heavenly fires? He would still be toyed with to death. Hee hee, if I devour you, I'll have 8 heavenly fires. Don't you think that's something to be happy about? Lin Feng grinned. The flaming dragon bird looked at Lin Feng as if he was an idiot. "Do you think you have the ability to devour me? You're daydreaming. I have 7 heavenly fires, and 2 of them are of a higher level than yours. Devouring you is a piece of cake." Lin Feng pursed his lips. "Idiot. Just because your heavenly fires are of a higher level doesn't mean they're powerful. Besides, your heavenly fires haven't accumulated enough energy yet. How can you fight me?" The flaming dragon bird pounced at Lin Feng. Lin Feng's heavenly fires attacked the flaming dragon bird. Bang! Bang! The 2 sides fought in midair. It was just as the flaming dragon bird had said. Lin Feng's heavenly fires had not accumulated enough energy, so they were no match for the flaming dragon bird formed by the Nirvana heavenly fire. Lin Feng's heavenly fires were suppressed. Ha ha ha, kid. I'll eat you if you defeat my heavenly fires. All these years, you've worked so hard to find your heavenly fires, but you've only given them to me. The flaming dragon bird laughed. This guy laughed in an incomparably carefree and arrogant manner. Lin Feng said, "Don't be so arrogant. The show has only just begun." The flaming dragon bird sneered. It naturally thought that Lin Feng was bluffing. At that moment, Lin Feng waved his hand. The Book of the Dead was summoned by Lin Feng. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5492. If you can't win in a fight, don't be afraid. The key was to be good at ganging up on others. Ever since the Book of the Dead signed a contract with 40 saint-level undead creatures, Lin Feng found that he had become shameless. It's okay if you can't win. Anyway, I can gang up on you. What? You don't like ganging up on others? Sorry. I like it. What? Ganging up on others is a coward? Wasn't that what a man would do? F*CKU. You must be stupid to say such words. If you can gang up on others, why don't you gang up on others? 40 undead creatures were summoned by Lin Feng. Each one was stronger than the last. The strongest was at the 7th heaven of the Sage Realm. It wasn't the strongest Sage Realm cultivator, but the key was that there were enough undead creatures. In addition, the undead had another characteristic, which was that they could take a beating. The undead's body was often very special and almost difficult to kill. In addition, after these undead signed a contract with the Book of the Dead, even if they were killed, they could be reborn in the Book of the Dead. This was the horror of the Book of the Dead. So, with such an awesome Book of the Dead, he must carry forward the glorious tradition of ganging up on others. Lin Feng's hands changed seals. Dense array patterns intertwined in the void. After Lin Feng obtained the stone scripture, his array skills improved by leaps and bounds, and he mastered many powerful arrays. Now he set up an array in the void and used it to deal with the flaming dragon bird. The array Lin Feng set up was called the Annihilation Heavenly Fire Array. This array was specially used to deal with the heavenly fire, and it was a powerful method recorded in the stone scripture. It was just right to deal with the flaming dragon bird formed by the Nirvana heavenly fire. This kind of large array could set up at least 3 array cores, and at most 36 array cores. However, Lin Feng set up 7 array cores. Each of the 7 heavenly fires guarded 1 array core. In addition, each cluster of heavenly fire would also receive the help of several undead creatures. When the array was successfully condensed, the 40 undead creatures were distributed in the 7 array cores. Heavenly fire return, Lin Feng shouted in a deep voice. The 7 heavenly fires that were fighting with the flaming dragon bird quickly flew toward the 7 array cores. They entered the 7 array cores. However, after the heavenly fire returned to its original position, the power of the formation was immediately revealed. The array emitted a shocking wave of energy that was simply shocking. Every time the ripples spread out, the void seemed to be on the verge of shattering. This was Lin Feng's first time setting up such a formation. 7 heavenly fires and 40 saint-level undead creatures were operating the array together. Lin Feng could only think of one word to describe the power of the current array formation. Awesome. The power of the formation was too awesome. Lin Feng wanted to throw his head back and laugh. The flame draconic bird also noticed that something was wrong. Originally, it looked down on Lin Feng, but Lin Feng knew how to arrange formations. The flame draconic bird was very afraid of the power of formations. Lin Feng also summoned 40 undead creatures. What a pervert. The flaming dragon bird felt that the situation was not good. But after all, he was an existence that had seen many storms and waves. It had some confidence in itself. Kid, do you think you can deal with me by setting up a formation? Then you're wrong. I'll destroy your formation right now. The flame draconic bird said coldly. Then, it began to use its powerful techniques. Nirvana Heaven and Earth. The flame draconic bird's 3 huge heads spewed out a large amount of nirvana power. The nirvana power filled the world. It was as if it covered the sky and covered the sun. Heaven and earth were shattered. Even heaven and earth could be shattered. One could see how powerful it was. Even heaven and earth could be shattered. A mere formation was not worth mentioning. The flame draconic bird thought proudly in its heart. It was waiting for Lin Feng's great formation to be completely destroyed. But at this time, Lin Feng's great formation actually began to devour the nirvana power. In the blink of an eye, all the nirvana power was devoured. What's going on? The flame draconic bird was dumbfounded. Lin Feng said with a smile, Flame draconic bird, have you heard of the celestial master Dao? I've heard of it. The flame draconic bird had heard of the celestial master Dao too much. It's just that it's such an awesome legacy. Then, as if it remembered something, it looked at Lin Feng with a look of horror and said, Are you the successor of the celestial master Dao? I am the 37th successor of the celestial master Dao, said Lin Feng proudly. Therefore, my deployment spell is extremely powerful. You should stop struggling. If you stop struggling, I can't preserve your primordial spirit. Otherwise, I'll destroy your primordial spirit and destroy your soul, said Lin Feng proudly. Boy, you are too arrogant. So what if you are from the celestial master Dao? I can still break your great formation. The flame draconic bird said coldly. Then, it continued to attack Lin Feng's great formation. It locked on to a position and began to break through, directly hitting the great formation there. Before colliding with the great formation, it turned into the true body of the nirvana heavenly flame. It wanted to break the great formation by force, but it was useless. Lin Feng's great formation was too powerful. It blocked the nirvana heavenly flame's attack. At this time, Lin Feng's great formation began to show its power. All kinds of terrifying attacks were released, bombarding the nirvana heavenly flame. These attacks included the gravitational space, confinement technique, slowing technique, thunderstorm technique, flooding the golden mountain, 9 heavens immortal river, art of annihilation, and so on. There were attacks, suppression, and all kinds of techniques. The nirvana heavenly flame was suppressed too much. Lin Feng's true body was preparing a powerful attack. Lin Feng planned to use the curse technique to deal with the nirvana heavenly flame soul. It was not easy. He tried many times, but all of them failed. But it didn't matter. He could continue to try. Lin Feng continued to use the curse technique to deal with the nirvana heavenly flame soul. The stronger the existence, the stronger the resistance. So, the success rate of some of the more strange techniques used on them would be lower and lower. Lin Feng was very clear about this. After using the curse technique dozens of times in succession, finally, the nirvana heavenly flame let out a miserable cry. It's done. Lin Feng's eyes suddenly lit up. After the curse technique injured the nirvana heavenly flame soul, the nirvana heavenly flame's fighting strength plummeted. The power of Lin Feng's array instantly exploded, reaching its peak. The nirvana heavenly flame was completely suppressed. Lin Feng threw himself at him and used the 8 godly sealing seals. He wanted to seal the nirvana heavenly flame. Countless runes imprinted on the nirvana heavenly flame's body. The nirvana heavenly flame struggled violently, but it couldn't break free at all. I'm not convinced. You won with an unfair advantage. The nirvana heavenly flame roared angrily. Who would pay attention to the roar of a loser? Lin Feng sneered. First, he used the 8 divine seals to seal the nirvana heavenly flame. Because he was not at ease, he used the great suppression technique to suppress the nirvana heavenly flame. With the double insurance, Lin Feng was more at ease. After suppressing the nirvana heavenly flame, Lin Feng could finally heave a sigh of relief. End of chapter. Chapter 5493. I beg for mercy. I admit defeat. Please spare me. I really don't want to die. You're my ancestor, okay? Please don't kill me. I can do anything for you, said Lin Feng. Ancestor, please spare my life. The nirvana heavenly flame began to beg for mercy. After hearing the nirvana heavenly flame's begging, Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. This guy had a cocky look before, but in the blink of an eye, it had become like this, making Lin Feng extremely speechless. What happened to that arrogant and insufferably arrogant attitude from before? As expected, dignity was very cheap in front of life. Do you think I'll let you go? Lin Feng looked coldly at the Nirvana heavenly flame and said, You won't. The Nirvana heavenly flame said, You know, and you're still begging for mercy? What a waste of breath. Lin Feng sneered. He wanted to destroy the Nirvana heavenly flame's fire spirit and then devour it. The energy stored inside the Nirvana heavenly flame was very majestic. After refining it, Lin Feng felt that he could continue to break through a few more levels. Just thinking about it made him excited. The Nirvana heavenly flame said, I'm useful. If you don't kill me, you'll be able to obtain many benefits and even learn many secrets. Oh? Lin Feng couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly. He said, For example? The Nirvana heavenly flame said, I feel a familiar aura from your body, the aura of a curse. I know that you're cursed, and there's more than one curse. I can tell you how to remove the curse. Oh? What method? Lin Feng asked in surprise. I can only tell you if you promise not to kill me. The Nirvana heavenly flame said. Lin Feng pondered for a moment, then decided to let the Nirvana heavenly flame go. Although he really wanted to kill this guy knew many secrets, and it was a pity to kill it. Since that was the case, leaving it alive wasn't a big deal. Moreover, it would be beneficial to him. Lin Feng said, Now, swear allegiance to me, and I can spare your life. The Nirvana heavenly flame also knew that this was the best result it could get. Although it was unwilling in its heart, it had no other choice but to swear allegiance to Lin Feng to save its life. Thinking of this, the Nirvana heavenly flame swore, I, Nirvana heavenly flame, hereby swear that I am willing to serve you. If I violate this oath, I will die a horrible death. After the celestial fire of Nirvana made the vow, it had a special connection with Lin Feng. This was a connection formed by the rune. From then on, the celestial fire of Nirvana became Lin Feng's slave. Lin Feng, Nirvana heavenly flame, Nirvana heavenly flame, Nirvana, Lin, Teet, T's Lin Nirvana, Nirvana T, the Nirvana. The first method is that you need to be strong enough to destroy the existence that activated the curse. Lin Feng frowned. That's too difficult. The second method is that there is a cursed sacred stone inside the door of everlasting life. You only need to cultivate there for a period of time, and the curse on your body will naturally be removed. Lin Feng said, Who knows where the door of everlasting life is? Then, he asked, Is there a way to remove the curse in the Supreme Divine Court? The Nirvana heavenly flame said, This subordinate really doesn't know. The third method is that if you can gather all 9 of the yin and yang stone tablets, you can also remove the curse on your body. Lin Feng had 2 stone tablets, one was yin and the other was yang, but one of them hadn't been completely repaired yet. As for gathering the 9 yin and 9 yang stone tablets, it was even more difficult than gathering the 36 stone swords. Lin Feng said, Can't you give me a more reliable method? Yes, there is a more reliable method. The Nirvana heavenly flame said.
Speak.
Lin Feng said the Nirvana heavenly flame. The 10th revolution of the blood meridians can remove all negative effects, and curses are actually a negative effect. In other words, if you can complete the 10th revolution of the blood meridians, you'll be able to remove your curse. This was a feasible way to achieve it. However, Lin Feng's 3 bloodlines were still far from the 10th cycle. Lin Feng still didn't know what the 3rd bloodline was. Even if this method could be realized, it would still take some time. The only fortunate thing was that as Lin Feng's cultivation increased, the curse didn't come to Lin Feng for a while. Or was it preparing an even more terrifying method to deal with Lin Feng? Lin Feng had thought of this before, and he had always been extremely vigilant. Is there any other method? Lin Feng asked. I haven't thought of any for now. The Nirvana heavenly flame said. What other secrets do you know? Lin Feng asked. The Nirvana heavenly flame said, I know a lot of secrets. For example, there is something on your body that I have seen before. You can sense the things on my body? Lin Feng was surprised. If it was something else, I might not be able to sense it, but the aura of that thing left a deep impression on me, so I can still vaguely remember it. What is it? Lin Feng asked. Mysterious iron box. The Nirvana heavenly flame said mysteriously. When this fellow mentioned the mysterious iron box, the flame violently jumped. This meant that it had many misgivings about the mysterious iron box. Lin Feng was shocked. He didn't expect the Nirvana heavenly flame to be talking about the mysterious iron box. Lin Feng had many mysterious things on him, such as the demon orb, the ancient devil ring, and so on. But if there was something that was the most mysterious, it had to be the mysterious iron box. None of the items were as mysterious as the mysterious iron box. You know the origin of the mysterious iron box? Lin Feng asked. I don't know. The Nirvana heavenly flame said. Damn, if you don't know, then why are you talking about it? You made me happy for nothing. Lin Feng was speechless. Although I don't know where the mysterious iron box came from, I heard the fire god Zhurong talking to a mysterious strong cultivator about it once. At that time, the mysterious expert took out the mysterious iron box and showed it to Zhurong. The Nirvana heavenly flame said. In fact, Lin Feng had already guessed that the Nirvana heavenly flame might have followed Zhurong. Now that the Nirvana heavenly flame said this, he was sure that the Nirvana heavenly flame had followed Zhurong. This was also why the Nirvana heavenly flame had appeared at the place where Zhurong had fallen. Lin Feng asked, what did the fire god Zhurong and the mysterious expert talk about? Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5494. They didn't talk much, but I heard them say that the mysterious iron box seemed to be related to a cultivator surnamed Yi. The Nirvana heavenly flame said. It's related to the cultivator surnamed Yi? That cultivator's name is Yi something? Lin Feng asked curiously. The Nirvana heavenly flame said, I really don't know what his name is, because they didn't say that the cultivator's name was Yi something. They seemed to be filled with fear towards that cultivator surnamed Yi. Yes. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. The surname Yi was not a particularly rare surname, and there were many people with the surname Yi. The mysterious iron box was too terrifying. Logically speaking, since the mysterious iron box was related to the cultivator surnamed Yi, then that cultivator surnamed Yi should be very powerful, right? However, in the history of this era, there was no such thing as the Yi clan. This point was still rather strange. In your era, did the Yi clan exist? Asked Yi Feng. Lin Feng looked at the Nirvana heavenly flame and asked. That era should be the early part of the era. If the Yi clan existed, they should be from that era, or even before that era. The Nirvana heavenly flame said, no, I more or less know about some of the top forces at that time, but there was no Yi clan. Did you hear wrongly? Lin Feng asked. I definitely didn't hear wrongly. I remember very clearly that when that mysterious expert mentioned the cultivator surnamed Yi, the fire god Zhurong turned pale with fright and signaled the expert not to mention the cultivator surnamed Yi again. The Nirvana heavenly flame said, the fire god Zhurong actually doesn't even dare to mention the cultivator surnamed Yi? This is unbelievable. Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh. If he hadn't heard the Nirvana heavenly flame say these words with his own ears, and the Nirvana heavenly flame wouldn't have lied to him. These words, Lin Feng actually wouldn't believe it. And all of this was true. Lin Feng was even more curious about the identity of that cultivator surnamed Yi. What happened after that? Lin Feng asked. The Nirvana heavenly flame said. After that, the mysterious expert put away the mysterious iron box. He didn't stay with fire god Zhurong for too long and quickly left. However, about half a month later, fire god Zhurong received a piece of news. What news? Lin Feng asked. That mysterious expert has fallen, the Nirvana heavenly flame said. Fallen? An expert who can address fire god Zhurong as his brother must be at the same level as him, right? Lin Feng said. The Nirvana heavenly flame nodded and said, yes, that mysterious cultivator died, and the mysterious iron box disappeared. How terrifying. Lin Feng couldn't help but ponder this matter. He transmitted his voice to the demon lord and asked, what do you think of this matter? There's something strange about it. Maybe this thing doesn't belong to this epoch. Maybe it doesn't belong to this universe. The Demon Lord said. Lin Feng nodded. He agreed with the Demon Lord's words. Lin Feng had also thought of this before. It didn't belong to this epoch, or maybe it didn't belong to this universe. Lin Feng said, since we can't figure this out, let's not bother ourselves. I'll devour the heavenly flames to increase my cultivation. Immediately after, Lin Feng devoured the Nirvana heavenly flame. Since the fire spirit of the Nirvana heavenly flame was still there, it didn't take too long to fuse with it. After refining the Nirvana heavenly flame, Lin Feng now had 8 types of heavenly flames. Lin Feng's cultivation level also directly broke through to the 4th layer of the virtual immortal realm. Previously, Lin Feng was at the 1st layer of the virtual immortal realm. Continuous breakthroughs made Lin Feng extremely excited. Lin Feng sent the undead into the Book of the Undead. After collecting the book and the heavenly flames, he flew into the depths of the mountain range. The legacy of the fire god Zhurong was still there. What did the fire god Zhurong leave behind? Lin Feng asked. 3 types of immortal sutras and a few powerful magic treasures. The Nirvana heavenly flame replied. Lin Feng couldn't help but reveal a look of joy. The 3 types of immortal sutras were too precious. As for the magic treasures of the fire god Zhurong, they were all top-grade magic treasures. Lin Feng was most interested in the 3 types of immortal sutras and the Scarlet Emperor Sword. There was no need to say more about the immortal sutras. After cultivating them, there were endless uses. Although the Scarlet Emperor Sword wasn't an ancient weapon, it was extremely close to it. Such a precious treasure. It made one's heart palpitate. Lin Feng asked, is the Scarlet Emperor Sword still here? No. The Nirvana heavenly flame replied. Lin Feng's expression turned slightly ugly. A precious treasure like the Scarlet Emperor Sword wasn't here. Where's the Scarlet Emperor Sword? Lin Feng asked. During the battle back then, the fire god knew that the situation wasn't good. So he gave the Scarlet Emperor Sword to his son and had his son lead his clansmen to break out of the encirclement. The Nirvana heavenly flame replied. The fire god's son. Lin Feng was astonished. What's his name? Meteon. The Nirvana heavenly flame replied. Lin Feng was sure that this was a name he had never heard before. Perhaps it had already been buried by history. If he couldn't find the Scarlet Emperor Sword, then so be it. In the end, he still had a decent harvest. For example, the fire god's 3 great immortal sutras and some other magic treasures. Lin Feng found the items left behind by the fire god in the depths of the mountain range. The 3 great immortal sutras were engraved on 3 stone steels. Apart from that, he also found a flaming spear and a flaming sword. There were also a few other treasures that had been destroyed. It wasn't the passage of time that had destroyed those treasures. Rather, the battle back then had been too fierce, and those treasures had been destroyed. After obtaining those treasures, Lin Feng flew outside. The fire god Zhurong's life was filled with legends. Lin Feng was also very curious about the fire god Zhurong's past deeds. Lin Feng asked, how did the fire god Zhurong die? The Nirvana heavenly flame replied. He was surrounded and killed. Who besieged them? Lin Feng asked. The epic survivors and the otherworldly creatures. The Nirvana heavenly flame replied. Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh. The first fire god was an unparalleled hero. Yet, he had fallen just like that. It really made one sigh with emotion. Some of the epic survivors and the otherworldly creatures might be good people, but more than 90% of them were definitely not good people. Lin Feng didn't have a good impression of the epic survivors and the otherworldly creatures. If he had the chance, he would definitely destroy them. He's out. The Taodai and Wu Xiuren were anxiously waiting outside. When they saw Lin Feng fly out, they immediately smiled. Lin Feng also saw them and sped up, meeting up with the Taodai and Wu Xiuren who were waiting outside. How was your harvest? The Taodai asked excitedly. Not bad. I successfully refined the heavenly flame. Let's find a place. I need to go into seclusion for a while. Lin Feng said. Okay. The Taodai and Wu Xiuren nodded. Then, the 3 of them quickly left the endless sea of fire. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5495. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. During that half a month, Lin Feng had stabilized his cultivation level. At the same time, Lin Feng had completely familiarized himself with the power of the Nirvana heavenly flame. Lin Feng had also comprehended the 3 immortal scriptures passed down by the fire god. Of course, in such a short time, he had only scratched the surface. However, if Lin Feng was given time, he would definitely be able to successfully cultivate the 3 immortal scriptures. Now, Lin Feng wanted to complete his robbery plan with the Taodai and Wushuren. Whether or not they could go to the Supreme Divine Court depended on whether they could snatch enough teleportation stones. After coming out of seclusion, the 3 of them first enjoyed a delicious meal, then began to search for other cultivators. What Lin Feng and the other 2 didn't expect was that they hadn't robbed anyone yet, but they were already targeted by other cultivators. The cultivators who targeted Lin Feng and the other 2 were from the same force. There were more than 100 people in total, and one of them was a sage, but he was only a great sage. There were 9 levels of the sage realm, and the great sage realm was the 3rd level. It wasn't particularly strong in the sage realm. However, it wasn't weak. However, compared to Lin Feng and the others, it was far too weak. Their only advantage was that they had more people. Hand over the teleportation stones and treasures on you, and then you can scram. The leader of the group was a young man. He looked at the 3 of them with an indifferent expression and an arrogant attitude. Damn, they have the same idea as us, the Taodai muttered. The Taodai couldn't help but mutter. Lin Feng said, that's normal. This is a place where people don't even spit out the bones. Whoever is stronger has the final say. Killing people for treasures and robbing others can take more than 3 days and 3 nights. Lin Feng said. Wu Shuren grinned and said, it seems that this battle is unavoidable. Damn, Lin Feng said. He immediately rushed towards the young man in the lead. Taodai, on the other hand, charged toward the great sage realm expert. Wu Shuren rushed towards the other cultivators. Are you courting death? The leading young master shouted angrily. He quickly retreated and wanted to hide in the crowd. But Lin Feng's speed was too fast. In the blink of an eye, he was already beside him. Therefore, it was too late for him to retreat. He had no choice but to counter Lin Feng's punch. Bang! Their fists collided. The leader of the group was sent flying by Lin Feng like a kite with a broken string. Wow! He spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was deathly pale. Lin Feng's punch just now directly took away half of this guy's life. Young master, are you all right? A cultivator helped the leading young master and asked with concern, are they all dead? Hurry up and kill that brat. The leading young master roared in exasperation. This guy's movements were too big, and it tore open the wound. Wow! He spat out another mouthful of blood. Kill! The group of people roared. They quickly charged towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng sneered and rushed into the crowd. A great battle erupted. Half an hour later, the battle ended. Over 100 cultivators knelt on the ground, including the great sage realm expert and the leading young master. They all looked at Lin Feng and the other 2 in fear. In their hearts, the 3 people in front of them were demons. Spare me, spare me. Everyone was begging for mercy. We only rob, we don't kill. Hand over the teleportation stone, and we can spare your lives. Lin Feng revealed a smile that he thought was very handsome, but in the eyes of others, his smile was the smile of a demon. Lin Feng asked for the teleportation stone, so these people naturally didn't want to give it to Lin Feng. However, could they not give it to him? Lin Feng said that he wouldn't kill them, so they had to cooperate with Lin Feng. If they didn't cooperate with Lin Feng, they naturally knew what the outcome would be. At this moment, the leading young master and the great sage realm expert's hearts were filled with hatred. When had they ever been humiliated like this? It was a great humiliation, and they were about to go crazy. They decided to cooperate with Lin Feng first. After they escaped, they would find experts to deal with Lin Feng. Hand it over. We'll hand it over. A ball of holy light flew out from the great sage realm expert's forehead. 2 teleportation stones were wrapped in the holy light. Damn, they really know how to hide things. Lin Feng was speechless. He put away the 2 teleportation stones and asked, are there any more? I dare to swear to the heavens that there are no more. We only got 2 teleportation stones. The great sage realm cultivator said. Taotai said, this guy should have a lot of good things in his storage ring. We can plunder his storage ring. Of course. Lin Feng grinned. The group's faces turned green. After ransacking their storage rings, Yi Zichen took a deep breath. Lin Feng and the other 2 left. Damn it. My treasures were all stolen by those 3 bastards. After the leading young master stood up, he immediately roared in exasperation. His life savings, all kinds of good things that he had obtained through trickery. He had put them all in his storage ring, and now they were all gone. And he, in the blink of an eye, he had become a pauper. He was so angry that his whole body was trembling. He was so angry that he wanted to die. The rest of the people were not much better. All of them were gnashing their teeth. They wished that they could eat Lin Feng and the other 2's flesh and drink Lin Feng and the other 2's blood. This was especially true for that great sage expert. This person's cultivation was powerful and his status was respected. It had always been smooth sailing, especially after he became a great sage realm expert. He was high and mighty. Now, he had fallen to such a state and lost all his face. This made him gnash his teeth in hatred. Let's go. Let's go find the Supreme Elder and the others. If the Supreme Elder and the others take action, these guys are nothing to be afraid of. The great sage realm cultivator said. All right, let's go find the Supreme Elder and the others now. The young master in the lead said fiercely. The group of people didn't stop and quickly left to look for the Supreme Elder of their power. P.S. Speaking of which, the corpse of the mysterious iron box was surnamed Yi. Many fans who read the new book knew that the main character's surname was Yi. Then, they asked the old steamed bun in the group if the corpse of the mysterious iron box was Yi Xian's. I'll explain it here. The corpse of the mysterious iron box wasn't the new main character, Yi Xian, but it was the Yi Xian clans. Lin Feng was in the 9 provinces universe of the 4 great universes. The new main character, Yi Xian, was in the Kunlun universe, one of the 4 great universes. Moreover, Yi Xian's era was far earlier than Lin Feng's era. In Yi Xian's era, the ancestor of the sovereign realm was still a young man. In this era, the immeasurable Taoist was still a handsome young man who cultivated hard to prove himself. Actually, this handsome young man was the previous life of the immeasurable Taoist. So, the new book is very exciting. Everyone, please take a look at the new book, Devouring the Heavens. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5496. Lin Feng had 12 pieces. Including the 5 pieces from Wu Xiuren, he had 17 pieces. Adding these 2 pieces, he had 19 teleportation stones. Lin Feng and the others needed 64 teleportation stones to set up the teleportation array. In that case, Lin Feng and the others still needed 45 teleportation stones. Taotai said, why don't we get rid of those guys? Wouldn't that solve the problem once and for all? Lin Feng said, if we get rid of them, who will inform the experts behind them? Taotai said, damn, you even want to rob the experts behind them? Who knows how terrifying the experts behind these guys are? If we can't defeat them, then we'll be out of luck. Lin Feng said, wealth comes from danger. Moreover, even if we can't defeat those guys, we can still escape. It would be even better if we could deal with those guys. Those guys are very strong, so they might have more teleportation stones on them. That's true. Taotai grinned. In the following period of time, Lin Feng and the other 2 transformed into pirates. They began to rob other cultivators. A large number of cultivators had been robbed by Lin Feng and the other 2. Lin Feng and the other 2's reputation became more and more resounding. The trio was even given a nickname by others. It was called the Man-Beast Combo. The reason why they were given this nickname was because Taotai had transformed into his original appearance. The Man-Beast Combo was naturally not a nice name. The cultivators who had been robbed by Lin Feng and the other 2 hated the 3 of them to the core. Many people joined forces to denounce Lin Feng and the other 2. However, those people were unable to find Lin Feng and the other 2. The 3 of them appeared and disappeared mysteriously. It was not an easy task to find them. On this day, Lin Feng and the other two heard a piece of news. It was said that someone had found a place where a cultivator had died. That place was enveloped by a powerful restriction. One could vaguely see some teleportation stones scattered on the ground. It was said that there were no less than 10 teleportation stones in total. After receiving this news, Lin Feng and the others couldn't help but be shocked. Lin Feng and the other two had only been robbing for slightly more than a month. He had only obtained 7 teleportation stones. That was the place where the cultivator had fallen. There were so many teleportation stones. If this news was true, it was indeed worth a visit. I wonder if it's a trap set up by those forces to lure us over? If we go over rashly, they will definitely catch us like a turtle in a jar, Tao Dai said. The thing that Tao Dai was worried about was actually very reasonable. Who knew what was going on over there? Lin Feng replied, "Disguise yourself and secretly investigate." The three of them all knew the art of transformation. After investigating for a while, they found that this matter was true. They arrived at the place where the cultivator had died. That place was in a valley. The restriction in the valley should have existed for a long time. Inside the valley were the corpses of 2 cultivators. One of them was holding a treasured sword, while the other was holding a war spear. Lin Feng looked at the situation at the scene and roughly guessed what had happened back then. Back then, this place was enveloped by a terrifying restriction. 2 powerful cultivators discovered that there were teleportation stones here at the same time. Thus, they took the risk and entered the valley. In order to compete for the teleportation stones, the 2 of them fought. The cultivator with the war spear stabbed the cultivator with the treasured sword to death first. The spear-wielding cultivator originally thought that his opponent was truly dead, but who would have thought that his opponent was not truly dead and still had a single breath of life left? He managed to deceive the spear-wielding cultivator by deceiving him. While the cultivator with the war spear was collecting the teleportation stones, the cultivator with the treasured sword sneak attacked the cultivator with the war spear from behind, piercing through the chest of the cultivator with the war spear. As a result, the 2 of them died one after another. Due to the terrifying restriction in the valley, although there were many cultivators here, no one acted rashly. "You guys go outside and wait for me. I'll go inside and take out those teleportation stones," Lin Feng said. "No problem, be careful," the 2 of them reminded him. "Okay." Lin Feng nodded. Tao Dai and Wu Shiren flew outside. Lin Feng continued flying towards the palace. He activated the stone scripture. The stone scripture released a special kind of energy that enveloped Lin Feng's body. This kind of energy could pass through any restriction without being attacked by them. This was the terrifying part of the stone scripture. "Look, someone can't hold back and is about to make a move." Seeing Lin Feng fly towards the valley, a cultivator exclaimed, "A young human cultivator? He's simply courting death," someone said disdainfully. The Sage Realm experts did not make a move because they were afraid of the restriction in the valley. Lin Feng, a young human cultivator, making a move was no different from courting death. However, some people could not help but frown slightly. They felt that things were not so simple. No one who had cultivated to this realm was a fool. Since Lin Feng dared to make a move, he must have some special tricks up his sleeve. However, it was hard to say what kind of tricks he had. What if those tricks could withstand the attack of the restriction? Was there such a possibility? Thinking about it carefully, there was indeed such a possibility. Therefore, some people began to secretly prepare. If Lin Feng succeeded, they would immediately make a move to kill Lin Feng and take the stone spear that Lin Feng had obtained. Thwoosh! At this moment, Lin Feng rushed into the valley. How is this possible? Many people exclaimed. The cultivators who thought that Lin Feng was courting death almost had their eyes pop out. As for the cultivators who thought that Lin Feng had some special tricks up his sleeves, they were dumbfounded. The restriction in the valley was so powerful. Even if Lin Feng had some special tricks up his sleeves, it was impossible for him to completely ignore the restriction in the valley. But what was the truth? Lin Feng really did completely ignore the restriction in the valley. It was really strange. Looking at such a strange situation, the corners of everyone's mouths could not help but twitch violently. Hee, the stone scripture is really awesome. Lin Feng could not help but grin. He successfully arrived at the center of the valley. Lin Feng was pleasantly surprised to find that there were a total of 13 teleportation stones here. He had already obtained 24 teleportation stones here. Counting these 13 teleportation stones, that would be 37 teleportation stones. There were 27 teleportation stones left to collect 64 teleportation stones. Many people's eyes widened when they saw that Lin Feng had obtained 13 teleportation stones. They could not wait to snatch the 13 teleportation stones immediately. After Lin Feng put away the teleportation stones, he did not leave immediately. Instead, he looked at the storage rings on the hands of the two experts who had died. Lin Feng smiled and walked towards the two experts who had died. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5497. The restriction in the valley was so strong, but the two cultivators were still able to fight in the valley. This was enough to show how strong the two of them were. There were definitely good things in the storage rings they left behind. Lin Feng was actually looking forward to the Immortal Sutra the most. If only he could collect the Immortal Sutra. Lin Feng was now extremely obsessed with collecting Immortal Sutras. Lin Feng quickly came to the two corpses of the experts. Lin Feng gently touched their corpses. Suddenly, their corpses directly disintegrated. After a long time, their corpses had long been destroyed. It was just that a strand of divine power prevented their corpses from disintegrating. But now, perhaps it was because of the touch. So, that strand of divine power had disappeared. This was also the main reason why the two corpses disintegrated. However, the two storage rings were not destroyed yet. Lin Feng put away the two storage rings and the two magic treasures, then rushed outside. As soon as he arrived outside, a large number of cultivators had already surrounded him. There were at least 50 to 60 forces here. Now that everyone was jealous of Lin Feng's teleportation stone, they naturally would not let Lin Feng go. You are despicable. You are shameless. Dozens of forces are bullying me. If you have the ability, fight me one-on-one. Lin Feng shouted loudly. Many people's faces were gloomy. These big forces still had some face. Some of them did not want to do this, but for the teleportation stone, they had no choice. However, there were also some big forces that did not care about this at all. Obtaining benefits was the most important thing to them. Kid, hand over the item and we can spare your life, an old man said. Someone recognized the old man's identity. That old man's origin was frightening. He was one of the sovereigns in the southern region of the time reversal world. Beside him was a young female cultivator. That female cultivator was wearing a long white dress that outlined her charming figure perfectly. She was wearing a veil, so her specific appearance could not be seen clearly. However, her skin was white and could be described as creamy. One could imagine that she was definitely a peerless beauty. The woman's identity was actually quite extraordinary as well. She was the descendant of the Elder, and her talent was exceptionally heaven-defying. She was the saintess of the southern region. Ancestor, there's something wrong with that boy. Let me use the demon revealing mirror to check him out. The woman said. The old man nodded. The woman took out a demon revealing mirror. With Lin Feng's current strength, an ordinary demon revealing mirror would have no effect on him. However, this woman's demon revealing mirror was very different. When the light from the demon revealing mirror shone on Lin Feng's body, the demon revealing mirror shone on him. Lin Feng's body instantly returned to his original appearance. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile bitterly. This was not a good thing, because Lin Feng found that many people here had been robbed by him. F***CK. It's actually that brat. The heavens have eyes. We actually managed to catch this brat. Ha 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 ha, so it's him. I've finally found him. Shouted many people when they recognized Lin Feng. They were so excited that they started shouting. They were so excited that their bodies were trembling. Who is that brat? Why does he seem like a public enemy? Some people didn't recognize Lin Feng and asked curiously. That brat is one of the guys in the human-beast combo. He's very likely their leader. Someone said, what? It's actually him? Many cultivators immediately cried out in alarm. The combination of man and beast was like thunder to anyone's ears. This was because too many people had been robbed by the human-beast combo. Many experts had heard the news and gone to surround the human-beast combo. It was said that the human-beast combo had beaten them up miserably. However, those experts didn't say anything about what had happened back then. They couldn't afford to lose face like this. Say, is there some kind of misunderstanding between us? Lin Feng asked. Misunderstanding my ass. Many people started cursing. Everyone, I advise you to be kind. Lin Feng continued. F***CK. Why are you so thick-skinned? Why didn't you tell yourself to be kind when you robbed us? Someone retorted. Lin Feng said, ask yourselves honestly. Which one of you hasn't robbed others before? The surroundings fell silent. The world of cultivators had always been like this. The strong could do whatever they wanted. Everyone had done the same thing before. There was nothing wrong with admitting it. Lin Feng continued, the reason I robbed you is because I want you to be the victims and experience what it feels like to have all the treasures you've painstakingly accumulated stolen. Once you've experienced this, you won't casually rob others. This is a way of accumulating good karma. You'll be able to benefit your future generations. Moreover, if you don't rob others, you won't kick an iron plate. Who knows when you'll kick an iron plate and die? So, I robbed you for your own good. After hearing Lin Feng's words, many people had a dumbfounded expression on their faces. This guy, he could be shameless, but he couldn't be so shameless. You're really shameless. You're really shameless. Your skin is thicker than the walls of the heavenly palace, right? It's really hard to imagine how there can be someone as shameless as you. Many people loudly criticized Lin Feng. Something's wrong. That brat is deliberately stalling for time. Hurry up and deal with him. He wants to run. At this moment, the holy maiden from the southern region exclaimed. She had sensed Lin Feng's concealment method. Even her ancestor hadn't sensed it, but she had sensed it. This holy maiden was really extraordinary. Lin Feng couldn't help but glare fiercely at the holy maiden from the southern region. You talk too much. Have I robbed you before? Do you really want to be robbed by me? When I'm free, I'll definitely rob you. Just you wait. Lin Feng said fiercely in his heart. Attack. Boom, boom, boom. Many people attacked. Attacks that blotted out the sky and covered the earth bombarded Lin Feng. No matter what, they couldn't let Lin Feng escape. Even if they had to directly kill Lin Feng, they couldn't let Lin Feng escape. Faced with so many attacks, Lin Feng naturally wouldn't choose to face them head-on. That would be an act of suicide, and Lin Feng didn't need to face them head-on. At the critical moment, he had condensed a space-time gate. A space-time gate appeared in front of Lin Feng, and Lin Feng entered it. He disappeared in an instant. When those terrifying attacks came crashing down, the gate of time and space also disappeared. A space-time gate. That's a good technique, but the space-time gate he condensed is only a short-distance gate. He can't run far. Everyone, chase. We'll definitely catch up to him. The supreme being old man from the southern region shouted in a deep voice. His divine will seem to have locked onto Lin Feng. The old man directly teleported and chased after Lin Feng. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5498. Lin Feng didn't meet up with Tao Dai and Wu Shuren because he realized that there were experts chasing after him. Lin Feng soon found out who was chasing after him. It was none other than the old man from the southern region, one of the sovereigns of the southern region. That old thing was very strong. Since he could be a sovereign of a region, Lin Feng guessed that he should be at the peak of the sage realm. Even though Lin Feng had 40 saints with him, he didn't have enough strength. However, the strongest undead here were only at the 7th level of the sage realm. The gap between them and this old man was too big. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't plan to fight to the death with this old man. That was simply courting death. After Lin Feng flew out of the void, the old man flew out. He sneered and said, "Young man, you are very capable. Even I admire you. However, I'm afraid you won't be able to escape today. I have no enmity with you, and I don't want to kill you. I'm only here to ask for the teleportation stone. If you know what's good for you, give it to me, and you can leave on your own. If you don't know what's good for you, you'll have to bear the consequences." Lin Feng said, "You're really shameless. How old have you been? You're still chasing after me? Aren't you afraid that people will laugh their heads off if this gets out?" The old man said, "I don't care what others say." Lin Feng pursed his lips, but he was even more afraid of the old man now. Sometimes, cultivators who cared about their reputation wouldn't be feared even if they were strong. Because those who wanted to save face didn't want to do such a thing. For example, chasing after Lin Feng. What kind of person was the most feared? The most troublesome? It was people like this old man. He wasn't just strong. He was also thick-skinned. Being targeted by such an old thing was really a terrible thing. Lin Feng admitted that he was unlucky. Lin Feng continued to run, and the old man continued to chase. It wasn't easy to catch up to Lin Feng. Lin Feng's speed was indeed too fast. The old man was a little depressed. With his cultivation, logically speaking, wouldn't it be easy for him to catch up to Lin Feng? After chasing for so long, he still couldn't catch up to Lin Feng. The old man couldn't help but blow his beard and glare. "Who is that holy maiden to you?" Lin Feng asked. The old man was slightly stunned. He didn't know why Lin Feng mentioned her at this time. However, the old man didn't hide anything and said, "She's my granddaughter from the 9th generation." "Oh, you've passed it down for so many generations. Old man, your family must be very powerful," Lin Feng said. The old man's face darkened. Someone actually dared to call him an old man. This made the old man extremely angry. Before Lin Feng, no one had ever dared to be so impudent to him. However, today, Lin Feng actually dared to call him an old man. Right now, the old man really wanted to catch Lin Feng and ruthlessly teach him a lesson. Seeing Lin Feng's pitiful appearance and begging for mercy, only then would he be able to vent the hatred in his heart. "Young man, you're talking too much. Remember one thing, trouble comes from the mouth." "That's a very reasonable saying," said Lin Feng. The old man said coldly. Lin Feng didn't talk about this topic with the old man. He said, "I think that the holy maiden's figure is really good." The old man's face darkened even more. Lin Feng said to himself, "She's also very beautiful. That face, those facial features, that skin, and that figure. She must be a goddess that countless cultivators yearn for, right?" The old man still didn't say anything. As an elder, he naturally couldn't comment on his descendants' looks or figure, right? Wouldn't that make him shameless? So it was better to shut up. Lin Feng said, "So I don't have any grudges with you, and I didn't rob you. But today, you provoked me. First, it was that woman, and then it was you. If I don't do anything, it will seem like I'm afraid. What do you want to do?" The old man asked warily. Lin Feng said, "It's very simple. I want to capture the holy maiden of your family and turn her from a fairy who keeps her chastity to a beautiful young woman. I'll kill you." The old man was quite angry at Lin Feng's words, and he gritted his teeth as he looked at Lin Feng. Normally speaking, people of such high status wouldn't speak so vulgarly and shamelessly. However, Lin Feng overturned his thoughts. This kid, truly shameless, truly despicable, truly shameless. Kitchen, sofa, bath, bedside, table, Lin Feng said with a smile. "Shut up, shut up." The old man looked at Lin Feng angrily. He rarely got angry, but today, he was so angry at Lin Feng that his entire body was trembling. Lin Feng said, "Why are you so angry? Did I say anything? This old man has roamed the heavens for so many years, but I've never seen someone as shameless as you," the old man said fiercely. Lin Feng ignored the old man and continued, "Whips, candles, chains, ropes. This old man will tear you to pieces." Hearing Lin Feng's words, the old man became even angrier. F***CK. I'm very pure, okay? You're the one who's thinking the wrong way. Now, it seems that you weren't a good person when you were young. Lin Feng mocked. This old man was 1,000 times better than you when he was young, the old man said angrily. In the end, the chase ended with Lin Feng successfully shaking off the old man. However, Lin Feng was also very tired. This was because the old man's speed was really too fast. In fact, it was mainly because the old man's realm was too high, and he was not very good at speed. With his realm, if he was good at speed, he would definitely be able to catch up to Lin Feng. The next day, after shaking off the old man, Lin Feng, Tao Tai, and Wu Xuren met up. After seeing Lin Feng, Tao Tai said with a smile, "Right now, countless forces are looking for you. They said that they'll skin you alive after they catch you." Lin Feng said, "I didn't expect everyone to love me so much." F***CK. Why does this sound so awkward? How should I understand it? Tao Tai asked. Lin Feng said, "The deeper the hatred, the deeper the love." Tao Tai and Wu Xuren couldn't help but roll their eyes. Lin Feng said, "Let's go and find the southern region's holy maiden. I must catch this woman." Wu Xuren said, "This woman is not simple." Lin Feng said, "I know, but don't worry. As long as she's not with that old man, we'll definitely be able to catch her when the time comes." "Hee, what do you plan to do after you catch her?" Tao Tai asked with a grin. Wu Xuren said, "It should be good to use her to exchange for a teleportation stone. That must be your plan, right?" "I really don't think so. After I catch her, I'll do it to her 100 times, 100 times." Lin Feng said seriously, "Please remember the domain name of this book, mobile version of reading website." Chapter 5499. The Taodai said, "Damn, you're just bragging. 100 times? Why don't you go to the heavens?" Lin Feng said, "You can't do it, but that doesn't mean I can't. I'm very capable." Wu Xuren said, "You're not serious, are you? That woman is the saintess of the southern region. She's pure and innocent. If you really dare to touch her, I'm sure you'll become the public enemy of the southern region. Countless cultivators there will hunt you down." Lin Feng said, "Don't be afraid. She'll fall deeply in love with me when she becomes a young woman. Then she'll cry and beg me to take her. That's called love." Shameless. The Taotai pursed its lips. So shameless. Wu Xuren was speechless. There were still many opportunities in the ancient battlefield. Over the past few days, a shocking piece of news had spread. It was said that Pengu's orthodoxy had appeared in the southwestern region of the ancient battlefield. Pengu was one of the greatest existences in this epoch. No one knew how powerful Pengu's legacy was. If one could obtain Pengu's orthodoxy, it would be heaven-defying. Many people had been searching for Lin Feng's whereabouts, but after hearing about Pengu's orthodoxy, they stopped paying attention to Lin Feng and went in search of Pengu's orthodoxy. The saintess of the southern region also went in search of Pengu's orthodoxy. She was called Meng Jiyao. Her clan, the Meng clan, was an ancient clan from the celestial world. Meng Jiyao hadn't met up with the ancestor yet. Was the ancestor still searching for Lin Feng? He had found some opportunities. That was why he hadn't met up with Meng Jiyao. Of course, Meng Jiyao's cultivation was strong enough, and she had great treasures. Ordinary people wouldn't dare have any ideas about her, and she had many experts by her side. The Meng clan's group flew in the southwest direction. They were passing through a huge mountain range. Meng Jiyao suddenly said, "Something's wrong. Everyone, stop." Meng Jiyao was young, but her methods were heaven-defying. Everyone trusted her words. They stopped quickly. Meng Jiyao stretched out her hand and gently tapped the air in front of her. Suddenly, all kinds of runes intertwined. He could vaguely see that the front was covered by a large formation. If they continued to fly forward, they would enter the Great Array. At that time, he would become a turtle in someone else's jar. Fortunately, he was discovered in advance. The cultivators of the Meng family were naturally incomparably angry. They were one of the overlords of the southern region. Who would dare to provoke the Meng clan? But today, someone dared to scheme against the Meng clan. They were courting death. A powerhouse of the Meng family shouted coldly, "Who? Get your ass out here and die. Why is your mouth so smelly?" At this moment, a sneer was heard. Everyone looked over and saw a Taodai flying out. "It's a combination of man and beast. It must be that brat." At this time, someone spoke up. When they saw Taodai, they thought of the human-beast combination. When they thought of the human-beast combination, they thought of Lin Feng. Previously, they had been searching for Lin Feng's whereabouts everywhere, but he hadn't gained anything. He had almost been plotted against by Lin Feng. This made them extremely angry. Wu Xuren also flew out from behind a mountain. He stood in the air and coldly looked at the cultivators of the Ming family. Although Wu Xiuren was a swindler all year round, his methods were still quite formidable. Otherwise, he would have been killed countless times already. Lin Feng also flew out. He smiled at the Ming family and said, "Welcome to hell, everyone." "Brat, you're bragging too much." An expert of the Ming family sneered. Lin Feng smiled indifferently. "I'm not the kind of person who likes to brag." Hee. Many people sneered. Naturally, they didn't believe Lin Feng. They looked at Lin Feng with disdain. Meng Jiao asked, "Why are you here?" "I'm here for you." Lin Feng said. "You came for me?" Meng Jiao was surprised. "Of course." Lin Feng nodded seriously and said, "I want to catch you and do it 100 times." Meng Jiao was a pure woman, so she didn't understand what Lin Feng meant by 100 times, 100 times. But there were so many people in the Ming family, and there were too many shameless people. Those people naturally knew what Lin Feng meant when he said 100 times. They immediately cursed, "Brat, you're shameless." Meng Jiao was pure, but she wasn't stupid. On the contrary, she was very smart. Meng Jiao saw that the others were filled with righteous indignation. Meng Jiao immediately understood what Lin Feng meant. Her pretty face couldn't help but become a little unsightly. Meng Jiao said coldly, "You shouldn't have come here, and you shouldn't have provoked me." She walked step by step towards Lin Feng. Obviously, Meng Jiao was a little angry, so she wanted to take the initiative to attack Lin Feng. "I'll take care of this girl." Tao Tai laughed loudly and clawed at Meng Jiao. Meng Jiao suddenly waved her sleeve. Bang! An invisible force collided with Tao Tai's attack. Tao Tai was immediately sent flying. "Shit! So strong!" Tao Tai exclaimed. Tao Tai was now at the second layer of the Saint Plane. Tao Tai was very talented. It could even fight against cultivators at the third layer of the Saint Plane. But it couldn't even take one attack from Meng Jiao. It was obvious how terrifying she was. Lin Feng couldn't help but think of the Holy Maiden of the Eastern region. Those holy maidens were really terrifying. If you say something wrong or do something wrong, you'll have to pay the price. Meng Jiao looked coldly at Lin Feng. This brat has angered the Holy Maiden. He's dead. Let's see how he'll die. The cultivators of the Meng family all sneered. In their opinion, Lin Feng was going to die. They knew how terrifying the Holy Maiden was. Although the combination of human and beast was really strong, it depended on who they were compared to. Against the Holy Maiden, they weren't on the same level at all. Lin Feng said, "I'll say the same thing to you. You're about to die, and you still dare to be arrogant? I'll send you to hell right now." Meng Jiao's eyes were cold. She sped up and rushed towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng waved his hand, and the Book of the Dead flew out. Then, 40 saint-level undead creatures flew out at once. The undead creatures emitted a suffocating and terrifying aura. 40 holy undead. The expressions of the Ming family members changed drastically. Meng Jiao's pupil shrank, and she quickly retreated. End of chapter. Chapter 5500. The deterrent power of 40 Sage Realm undead spirits was simply too great. Meng Jiao was very strong, but he wanted her to block the attacks of 40 undead saints. It was also an extremely unrealistic thing. Meng Jiao's face became very ugly. Lin Feng's method. She was indeed shocked. As for Meng Jiao's clansmen, they were completely terrified. It seems that the news about the inheritance of Pengu's orthodoxy is fake. Meng Jiao said coldly. "You're very smart," said Lin Feng. Meng Jiao said, "It's not that I'm smart, it's just that you don't know where I am and it's not easy to find me. That's why you spread false information about Pengu's system to lure me here." "Indeed, you guessed correctly. I thought you'd be trapped in the deployment spell, so it would be much easier to deal with you. I hadn't thought that you'd be so extraordinary. You discovered my deployment spell in advance. If you hadn't, you would have died already, or been suppressed by my deployment spell." Lin Feng said indifferently, "Do you really want to make things difficult for me? Think about the consequences of becoming enemies with the Meng family." Meng Jiao said coldly, "Hee, are you threatening me? If I was afraid of your family, I wouldn't have attacked. Since I chose to attack, it means that I'm not afraid of your family." Lin Feng waved his hand and 40 undead saints quickly attacked. What do we do now? A strong cultivator of the Meng family asked. Break out, Meng Jiyao said. Boom, boom, boom. At that moment, all kinds of terrifying attacks were coming. The cultivators of the Meng family had to block the attacks of the undead. Lin Feng was wearing the ruler's armor. He held the phoenix shield in his left hand and the epic war spear in his right. I know your cultivation is good, but compared to me, you're still far from it. Meng Jiyao sneered and took out the demon-revealing mirror she used before. That mirror was not as simple as a demon-revealing mirror. It was a supreme treasure with extremely terrifying power. A terrifying light beam shot out from the mirror. The void was instantly shattered. What a terrifying power. Lin Feng looked surprised. That mirror probably had an extraordinary background. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been so powerful. But Lin Feng wasn't afraid. His god's armor and phoenix shield were incredible treasures. Just one of them was already extremely powerful, not to mention two of them at the same time. It was simply unimaginable how strong the defensive power of two supreme treasures would be when activated at the same time. Bang! That light beam ruthlessly slammed into the phoenix shield. The phoenix shield absorbed a part of the terrifying power. The ruler's armor also absorbed a part. About 20 to 30% of the remaining strength was neutralized by Lin Feng. Meng Jiyao's eyes narrowed after seeing this. She knew how powerful her treasures were, but Lin Feng had managed to neutralize them. This was going to be troublesome. Meng Jiyao knew that Lin Feng had two powerful defensive treasures. It would be extremely difficult to break through Lin Feng's defense. If she couldn't even break through Lin Feng's defense, how could she fight this battle? So, Meng Jiyao didn't intend to continue fighting with Lin Feng. She turned and ran outside. As for the others, they could only pray for their own fortune. Meng Jiyao couldn't be blamed for being ruthless. She really didn't have the extra power to protect the others. Meng Jiyao wanted to leave, but Lin Feng didn't intend to let her go. He swept out the arrow war spear in his hand. A terrifying cold light instantly condensed and swept towards Meng Jiyao. Meng Jiyao's face became extremely ugly. After feeling the power of the terrifying attack, Meng Jiyao had no choice but to stop and block. The demon-revealing mirror in her hand shot out a light beam, which collided with the cold light Lin Feng slashed out. The attacks of the two sides were annihilated, but at this time, Lin Feng had already killed his way over. At the same time, more than a dozen of the most powerful undead creatures surrounded them. Lin Feng knew that Meng Jiyao's cultivation was high, and her attack power was particularly terrifying. So, even if Lin Feng had two powerful defensive treasures, he still wouldn't be careless when dealing with Meng Jiyao. Lin Feng and more than a dozen powerful undead creatures besieged Meng Jiyao. Despicable, Meng Jiyao said angrily. 100 times, 100 times, Lin Feng said with a smile. Hearing Lin Feng's shameless words, Meng Jiyao's delicate body trembled with anger. But Meng Jiyao didn't dare to hesitate. She quickly condensed a powerful divine ability. A lotus flower appeared. Meng Jiyao sat cross-legged on the lotus flower. Lotus. It meant holiness. So, many Buddhist experts liked to refine lotus flowers into supreme treasures. Sitting cross-legged on the lotus flower, holy and otherworldly, subduing all evil. Although the lotus flower under Meng Jiyao was a manifestation of divine ability, however, that lotus flower, it was still incomparably extraordinary. Holy light curled around it, holy and otherworldly. Endless holy light spread out in all directions. The holy light sprinkled on the undead creatures. The bodies of the undead creatures began to burn. Damn, this woman is so vicious. She wants to burn my undead creatures to death. Seeing the undead creatures shrieking again and again, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel gloomy. Lin Feng hurriedly used a divine ability to dissolve Meng Jiyao's attack. I control the Tao of Fate. I say that the undead can become gods. I say that the undead will no longer fear the darkness. When the undead are no longer evil, they will represent justice and fight against evil. Lin Feng stretched out his hand. Powerful destiny energy poured out in an endless stream. The power of fate enveloped the bodies of the undead. When these undead bodies were enveloped by the power of fate, The undead began to tremble. The holy light was immediately blocked outside. The undead creatures' bodies were no longer burning. Not good. Meng Jiyao's expression changed dramatically. She turned and fled, but Lin Feng stopped her. Lin Feng joined forces with a group of undead creatures. He was fighting against Meng Jiyao. Although Meng Jiyao was powerful, her ability to restrain the undead had been dissolved by Lin Feng. No matter how powerful she was, facing Lin Feng and a dozen other powerful undead creatures, she was having a hard time. Lin Feng seized a rare opportunity and sent Meng Jiyao flying with a palm. Meng Jiyao's face became extremely pale. Lin Feng quickly flew towards Meng Jiyao and used the 8 seals. Countless runes imprinted themselves on Meng Jiyao's body. Meng Jiyao was instantly sealed by Lin Feng. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5501. Spare us. Spare us. We don't want to die. Please, I beg you, spare our lives. I can give you all my treasures. As long as you spare me, I'll do anything. Even if I have to be an ox or a horse, I'll do it. In the Ming clan, many people screamed and begged for mercy. However, Lin Feng didn't intend to let them go. I came from hell. Those who offended me should be killed. Those who wanted to kill me should be killed. These people deserve to die. The feast of slaughter was in progress. Perhaps because she was used to seeing death, Meng Jiyao looked at everything indifferently. Until the last cultivator of the Ming clan fell. Meng Jiyao didn't beg for mercy. Tao Dai and Wu Xiuren went to collect the storage rings of the dead cultivators. Lin Feng looked at Meng Jiyao and said, I thought you would beg for mercy for them, but you didn't. I'm quite surprised. Meng Jiyao said, Is it useful for me to beg for mercy for them? It's useless. Lin Feng grinned. So, if it's useless, why would I do something like this? Meng Jiyao said. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. This woman, she was really a meticulous and ruthless woman. Moreover, after being suppressed, she had only panicked for a short while. Now, she had calmed down. Lin Feng hated it when she was still so calm when being suppressed. You're just a prisoner. You know that? Since you're a prisoner, you should have the awareness of a prisoner. I've finished collecting the items, Tao Dai said. Lin Feng nodded. He put the soul into the Book of Dead Souls and put it away. Lin Feng looked at Meng Jiyao and smiled. Let's go. We'll go 100 times. Lin Feng put Meng Jiyao on his shoulder. Then, they quickly flew into the distance. Tao Dai and Wu Xiuren followed closely behind. After Lin Feng and the others left, only then did the cultivators in the distance dare to fly out from their hiding places. These people looked at the corpses on the ground, and their complexions became very pale. The dead were the experts of the Ming clan. Who would dare to offend an overlord-level clan in the southern region? But now, the Ming lost so many experts and their saintess, Meng Jiyao, was taken away. If this news were to spread out, one could imagine. It would definitely cause a huge uproar. The further north they flew, the colder the weather became. However, Lin Feng had a feeling that it was not due to the weather. It was very likely that the laws had changed the surrounding climate. Additionally, it was the laws of cultivators. Lin Feng guessed that perhaps a top-notch expert had fallen here. Well, Wu Xiuren and I have some things to discuss. You guys go ahead. While resting in a mountain forest, Tao Dai grinned. He left with Wu Xiuren. I believe that there is room for negotiation in everything, including the grudges between us. Do you think my words make sense? Meng Jiyao said. Yes, that makes sense. Lin Feng nodded. So, what will it take for you to let me go? Meng Jiyao said. A teleportation stone? I can give it to you. Lin Feng said. Now that you are my prisoner, your things are mine, including the teleportation stone on you. Sorry, I don't have a teleportation stone on me, so your idea of getting one for me will fall through. Meng Jiyao said. Lin Feng said, whether you have one or not, I'll know after I search you. Lin Feng said while sizing up Meng Jiyao's charming body. Lin Feng stretched out his hand and pretended to search Meng Jiyao's body. Meng Jiyao's pretty face suddenly became panicked. Lin Feng sneered in his heart. Didn't you say that you were very calm? Now, why did you look so panicked? Lin Feng hated to see Meng Ji Yao's calm expression. He liked to see Meng Ji Yao's panicked expression. Lin Feng was someone who was determined to be the great demon king. Don't search my body. I can't tell you everything. Meng Ji Yao begged for mercy. For example, what do you want to tell me? Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and looked at Meng Ji Yao. Meng Ji Yao said, the teleportation stone is with the ancestor. The ancestor will definitely be willing to use it in exchange for my freedom. Lin Feng sneered and said, that's not what I want to hear. I want to hear some secrets, and they are useful secrets. If they are useless to me, I advise you not to tell me. Meng Ji Yao said, you were able to ignore the formation and enter the valley. If I'm not wrong, you must be from the Celestial Master's sect. Lin Feng was surprised. This woman was not simple. She was actually able to guess that he was from the Celestial Master's sect. But Lin Feng didn't say anything. He wanted to hear what she had to say. Meng Ji Yao continued, that valley's restrictive spells were too terrifying. Even if you were from the Celestial Master's sect, you shouldn't have been able to ignore those restrictive spells, but you were able to do so. That means you must have obtained the Celestial Master's sect's holy relic, because only a Celestial Master who has the Celestial Master's sect's holy relic can borrow the power of the Celestial Master's sect to ignore those restrictive spells. Also, I sense something on your body. I think the mirror of the future is on you. Lin Feng said indifferently, how did you sense it? Meng Ji Yao said, because my mirror is made from the same materials as the mirror of the future. I can sense some of the mirror of the future's aura. Actually, whether it's the mirror of the past, the mirror of the present, or the mirror of the future, they're all divided into yin and yang mirrors. I don't know which mirror of the future you have, but I can sense the state of the mirror of the future. Your mirror of the future should be sealed, right? So what if it is? Asked Lin Feng. The stone can open the seal on the mirror of the future, said Meng Ji Yao. Lin Feng said indifferently, I know, so I don't need you to remind me. You've said so much, but there's very little that's actually useful to me. I'm even starting to suspect that you're deliberately stalling for time. Whatever, I've decided to do you 100 times first, 100 times, and then I'll extract the secrets from you. No. Meng Ji Yao's face turned pale. She hastily said, I can give you something. That thing might be able to help you enter the divine court. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5502. Lin Feng knew that it wasn't easy to join the Supreme Divine Court. Back in the days, his father had been able to join the Supreme Divine Court because he had defeated all the heroes of the world. He was the only one who had been able to join the Supreme Divine Court. Lin Feng had also heard that each time the Supreme Divine Court opened, only one person was allowed to enter. Nobody else was allowed to enter. Of course, if one was lucky enough, they might be able to enter the Supreme Celestial Court with the help of these opportunities. The first thing to do was to teleport to the Divine Court. The second thing to do was to find the opportunity to enter the Divine Court. As for whether or not one would be able to find it, that was hard to say. But now, Meng Ji Yao had said that she had something that could help them enter the Divine Court. Lin Feng was pleasantly surprised at first, but he soon became suspicious. Would this woman hand over the item so obediently? Why did it sound so unbelievable? It was no wonder Lin Feng was suspicious of Meng Ji Yao. Meng Ji Yao was simply too suspicious. Lin Feng calmly asked, what is this thing you're talking about? Meng Ji Yao said, it's a very special piece of jade. It's called the Peerless Jade. It's a special token. When you bring it to the Peerless Divine Court, you can sense it. Once you sense it, you'll have a chance to enter the Peerless Divine Court. Lin Feng said, so you're saying that it's impossible to be completely certain of entering the Divine Court? Meng Ji Yao said, of course it's impossible. That's the Divine Court we're talking about. No one would dare to pat their chest and say that they'll definitely be able to enter the Divine Court. It's pure nonsense. Lin Feng said, do you think I can believe your words? Meng Ji Yao said, I can swear that it's really a token to enter the Divine Court. Moreover, it can really help a cultivator enter the Divine Court. If I'm lying to you, I'll die a horrible death. Meng Ji Yao's oath was very serious. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel conflicted. Meng Jiyao didn't look like she was lying to him. Moreover, no one would swear on their life because oaths were very effective. The world of cultivators had always been like this. There was always a god watching over everything. Oaths couldn't be made casually. They were restricted by the heavenly Tao. Lin Feng said, "Hand it over." "Okay." Meng Jiyao nodded. Although her magic power was sealed, she could still communicate with her spatial ring. The item could still be taken out. Meng Jiyao took out the item she mentioned. Lin Feng looked at the talisman and realized that there was something strange about it. It was a kind of black jade talisman. There were many mysterious runes engraved on it, and each rune was emitting a terrifying wave of energy. When Lin Feng saw those mysterious talismans, he was astonished. He didn't know what those talismans were. At that moment, Lin Feng suddenly sensed an ice-cold qi coming from the depths of the forest. The cold aura quickly dissipated. Lin Feng found it very strange. If it weren't for his powerful perception, he wouldn't have been able to sense it. Lin Feng put the jade talisman away. He planned to go deeper. Lin Feng really wanted to see what it was that was releasing such a cold and gloomy qi. Lin Feng put Meng Jiyao on his shoulder and flew deeper. Meng Jiyao thought that Lin Feng was going to do something to her. She was so scared that her face turned pale. She began to struggle and say, "I've already given you the item. You can't go back on your word." Lin Feng slapped Meng Jiyao's perky buttocks, causing her to tear up in pain. "You bastard!" Meng Jiyao cursed. "Shut up. If you keep talking, do you believe that I won't execute you on the spot?" Lin Feng said fiercely. Meng Jiyao hurriedly shut up when she heard Lin Feng's threat. She didn't dare to frown at Lin Feng at a time like this. Lin Feng carried Meng Jiyao and flew deeper. Lin Feng felt the temperature drop rapidly. Soon, he saw a crack in the ground. A chilling aura kept drifting out from the underground fissure. It leads underground? Lin Feng couldn't help but wonder. He observed the entrance. It was pitch black down there, and he couldn't see anything. Meng Jiyao said, "Let me go. I'm begging you, let me go." "Oh, even a woman like you knows how to beg?" Lin Feng teased. "Of course I do. I'm just a weak woman. I know that you're actually a kind-hearted person. Please be merciful and let me go." Meng Jiyao continued to beg. Lin Feng wouldn't let her go just because she was begging. Lin Feng patted Meng Jiyao's head and said, "I'll let you go when the time comes, but not now." Meng Jiyao gnashed her teeth. Lin Feng had really taken advantage of her. But now, she was Lin Feng's prisoner. She wanted to resist, but she couldn't. This made Meng Jiyao very depressed. She felt extremely depressed. Lin Feng carried Meng Jiyao and flew down the crack. The lower they went, the lower the temperature became. But for someone at Lin Feng's level, it was nothing. He kept going down. The bottom became wider and wider. Lin Feng saw many huge ice pillars. Below, it was a world of ice. A world of ice sealed in ice. What is this place? Meng Jiyao couldn't help but feel puzzled because she saw some ice sculptures. They were very lifelike. They had been immortal for billions of years. After landing below, Lin Feng unlocked a part of Meng Jiyao's seal. Thus, Meng Jiyao could move now. They walked towards the nearest ice sculpture. After arriving next to the ice sculpture, Lin Feng's face showed a surprised expression. Meng Jiyao was also very surprised, because there was a cultivator sealed inside the ice sculpture. Lin Feng and Meng Jiyao originally thought that this was a man-made ice sculpture, but now it seemed that wasn't the case. In fact, someone had been sealed in ice. As time passed, he finally turned into an ice sculpture. The rest of the ice sculptures, it should be the same situation. Lin Feng tried to break the ice outside. Clang! A sword qi slashed out. That sword qi slashed the ice sculpture. The ice sculpture shattered. The corpse sealed in the ice sculpture turned into ashes when it came into contact with the air outside. What's going on? Lin Feng couldn't help but feel puzzled. Genius 1 second. Remember this site address. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 5503. The corpses had turned to dust. How strange. However, Lin Feng saw a storage ring. He picked it up and scanned it with his divine sense. Lin Feng was speechless. The storage ring had been damaged. This wasn't good news at all. He threw the storage ring on the ground. Lin Feng walked towards the second ice sculpture. Meng Jiyao had lost her magic power, so she didn't dare to lose track of him. Otherwise, who knew what terrible things would happen? Perhaps an extremely terrifying existence would suddenly appear and eat her up. That would be terrible. Meng Jiyao followed Lin Feng to the second ice sculpture. Lin Feng used his heavenly fire to slowly melt the ice outside the second ice sculpture. As time passed, the ice continued to melt. Finally, the ice completely melted, but when the second corpse came into contact with the air outside, it turned to dust just like the first one. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. Lin Feng picked up the storage ring and scanned it with his divine sense. It was the same as the first one. The second storage ring was also damaged. It probably has something to do with the ice. They can't see the air outside. Meng Jiyao said. What this little girl said was quite reasonable. Lin Feng walked towards the third ice sculpture. When he reached it, he didn't melt it. It would be useless anyway. Lin Feng observed it for a moment, frowned, and continued walking. What are you looking at? Meng Jiyao asked. I'm looking at the expressions of the cultivators inside the ice sculptures, Lin Feng said. Meng Jiyao looked at the cultivator inside the ice sculpture and said, he has a terrified expression. Lin Feng nodded. Yes, he has a terrified expression. I've seen the ice sculptures before. They all looked terrified. Apart from being terrified, their faces were all facing the same direction. In other words, they seemed to be running away, and then they were suddenly frozen. We'll know if that's the case after observing more of them, said Lin Feng. Then, the two of them observed some ice sculptures. Sure enough, they found that the situation was just as Lin Feng said. These frozen cultivators were all running away with a terrified expression. Is that true? What does that mean? Meng Jiyao muttered. Lin Feng said, this means that there must be something in the depths that they can't fight against. That's why they chose to escape, but they couldn't. Meng Jiyao said, these people's clothes are extremely ancient. I don't know how long they've been sealed. Even if there's something inside, it should have left long ago. I'm not sure about that. We can go in and take a look. Maybe we'll find something special, Lin Feng said. Meng Jiyao couldn't help but smile. Lin Feng said, don't forget your status. You're still my prisoner. Any treasure is mine. It has nothing to do with you. Meng Jiyao smiled wryly when she heard Lin Feng say that. She felt helpless that she had fallen into Lin Feng's hands. She didn't want to be cursed 100 times by Lin Feng. That was the silver lining of misfortune. She still wanted to get more opportunities? That was a fool's dream. Lin Feng carefully walked inside. Meng Jiyao followed behind Lin Feng. They walked for about an hour in the world under the ice. Lin Feng saw a huge palace. It was a pitch-black palace. Countless years had passed, but the palace was still emitting an incomparably demonic power. Lin Feng and Meng Jiyao were shocked when they saw the palace. It's not a demon palace. It seems to be an ice palace, but it's been invaded by demon power. Meng Jiyao said, is that so? Lin Feng was surprised. Meng Jiyao, this woman, was really extraordinary. She could sense things that many people couldn't. For example, she could sense the Black Palace now. Lin Feng couldn't sense it. However, Meng Jiyao still sensed it when her magic power was sealed. What an unimaginable ability. If it's really like what you said, then the demon power that invaded this place back then was too terrifying, Lin Feng said. That's right, Meng Jiyao said. The two of them walked towards the main hall. They came to the side of the main hall. The plaque of the main hall was still there. Ice Palace. There were 4 words written on the plaque of the main hall. Dragons flew and phoenixes danced, riding like dragons and snakes. But now, these 4 words were also eroded by the power of the demon. When Lin Feng saw those words, he suddenly thought of a celestial being wearing snow-white clothes and looking as cold as the moon. Perhaps the person who lived in the ice palace should be such a peerless fairy. Lin Feng and Meng Jiyao pushed open the door of the ice palace and entered. Just as they entered, there was a rumbling sound. The door closed. How strange. Meng Jiyao's expression became ugly. She said in a low voice, the situation doesn't seem right. Hurry up and undo my seal. If there's any danger, we can face it together. Lin Feng said, I can deal with any danger by myself. Sooner or later, I'll be killed by you. Meng Jiyao couldn't help but stomp her foot. She really did feel a dangerous aura. Although she didn't know what kind of danger it was, that feeling made Meng Jiyao very uncomfortable. With her magic power sealed, her fate was no longer in her own hands. Meng Jiyao trusted herself the most. If there was danger, she could resist it. She trusted that Lin Feng would protect her. They had a hostile relationship. If they were in danger, who knew if Lin Feng wouldn't push her out to protect them? Meng Jiyao was naturally very worried about this, but there were some things that wouldn't go according to your wishes even if you were worried. Lin Feng said, Don't worry, I won't trick you. We haven't done it 100 times yet. How could I bear to let you die? That would be too much of a pity. At that moment, Lin Feng was surprisingly still able to say something like that. Meng Jiyao was speechless. She wanted to stomp Lin Feng to death, but she could only endure it for now. They walked inside. The Holy Palace of Ice was clearly divided into many halls. The first hall was very spacious. There was nothing here. They passed through the first hall and then came to a deep corridor. The two of them entered the corridor. They could clearly hear their own footsteps echoing in the corridor. Meng Jiyao looked behind her. What are you looking at? Lin Feng asked curiously. Please remember the domain name of this book. Ice Palace. Mobile version. Chapter 5504. Why do I feel like there's something following us? Meng Jiyao's voice trembled as she leaned towards Lin Feng. She had no choice but to lean towards Lin Feng. Her magic power was sealed, so if there was any danger, she would have to rely on Lin Feng to deal with it. Thus, when she sensed that something was wrong, she could only try her best to get closer to Lin Feng. If she was too far away, who knew if something terrible would happen? This was all very possible, and Meng Jiyao didn't want to die. Even if Lin Feng took advantage of her, it was still better than dying, right? Lin Feng didn't notice Meng Jiyao's actions. When he heard Meng Jiyao's words, his expression became serious. Lin Feng didn't think that Meng Jiyao would speak without thinking. Especially at a time like this, Meng Jiyao wouldn't say anything inappropriate. She must have sensed something. Meng Jiyao's perception was extremely powerful. She could indeed sense things that even he couldn't sense. However, Lin Feng couldn't sense anything. The corridor gave off a very strange feeling, so it was better to leave as soon as possible. Lin Feng said, Let's speed up a bit. Meng Jiyao nodded. The two quickly walked forward. Meng Jiyao hugged one of Lin Feng's arms. Damn, female pervert. Lin Feng shouted. I'm a pervert, your head. Meng Jiyao was very speechless. She didn't want to hug Lin Feng's arm. However, with her magic power sealed, hugging Lin Feng's arm gave her a sense of security. Just like that, even if danger came, Lin Feng couldn't just leave her behind, right? Tell me honestly, do you really want to do it 100 times with me? I know, because you're a woman, so you're embarrassed to say it? And then you're using some special methods to hint at me? Lin Feng smiled at Meng Jiyao. Heavens! How can there be such a shameless person in this world? Meng Jiyao wailed in her mind. If possible, she really wanted to teach Lin Feng a lesson. Meng Jiyao even thought of a way to torture Lin Feng. She would capture Lin Feng and then find many beautiful women to dance in front of him. You can only watch. Meng Jiyao felt that this method was really quite good. She secretly praised herself for being a genius. If he could really capture Lin Feng, then he would deal with Lin Feng like this. Thinking of this, Meng Jiyao smiled. Answer with a smile. Don't worry, when we get out of this broken palace, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Feng said. Please don't, I really didn't mean that. Meng Jiyao was about to cry. Lin Feng said, to explain is to cover up, and to cover up is to tell the truth. I know what you're thinking. Meng Jiyao was about to be angered to death by Lin Feng. Meeting such a shameless person like Lin Feng made her so angry that her heart, liver, spleen, and lungs hurt. I'll endure. I'll endure. I'll endure. Meng Jiyao told herself that a little impatience would spoil great plans, so she decided to endure for now. The two of them successfully walked through the corridor and entered the second palace. After arriving here, Lin Feng saw that there were many corpses here. Perhaps it was because of the cold weather, but after countless years, the corpses still hadn't decayed. The corpses here were all women's corpses. Moreover, they were all extremely beautiful women. However, their clothes were disheveled, and their eyes were filled with terror. They had died with their eyes wide open. Who knew what they had experienced when they were alive? They couldn't have been violated, right? After being violated, they were killed? Meng Jiyao frowned. She was quite concerned about this kind of thing. Women were usually very concerned about this kind of thing. Except for a few women. Lin Feng said, I don't think so, because they didn't show any signs of struggle. I just don't know what happened back then. He carefully examined each of the corpses, then said, they don't have any injuries at all, but they died with disheveled clothes. How strange. That feeling has appeared again, Meng Jiyao said. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. Meng Jiyao's meaning was very clear. Something was watching the two of them, but Lin Feng found it strange that he hadn't been able to find out where it was hiding. This was a bit troublesome. If he couldn't sense its existence, how could he make it appear? I have to think of a way to make it appear. Meng Jiyao's red lips parted slightly. She didn't make a sound, but Lin Feng knew what her lips meant. How could he make it appear? Would Buddhist treasures work? Lin Feng decided to give it a try. He summoned the ancient Buddha skeleton. Namo Amitabha. The ancient Buddha skeleton was activated by Lin Feng. Then, he clasped his hands together, and a Buddhist light surged out from the ancient Buddha skeleton's body. The second palace was covered by the Buddhist light. Screech. A sharp, ear-piercing cry was heard. An evil existence appeared. This existence was wearing a black robe, and its eyes were extremely evil. Its black robe was stained with blood, and it blocked the corrosion of the Buddhist light. In God. When he saw this existence, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. This was a God, but not an ordinary one. If it was an ordinary God, it would be impossible to hide from Lin Feng's senses. Ordinary gods didn't have thoughts, but this one did. It could be seen from the flickering light in its eyes. You do have some tricks. The god's voice was cold, hoarse, and sinister. What a terrifying god. Hurry up and release my seal. I'll help you deal with this god. Meng Jiyao said. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. At this time, she was still thinking about releasing the seal? She even said the reason in such a dignified manner. Do you think I'll believe you? Lin Feng naturally didn't believe that Meng Jiyao would help him. If he really undid the seal on her, this woman would definitely run away at the first opportunity. Lin Feng didn't want to let Meng Jiyao go. It wasn't easy to catch her. How could he let her go so easily? Lin Feng said, Don't worry, I can deal with this god alone. I want to eat your soul, and then take over your body. This way, I can break free from the imprisonment of the demon palace. The god's hoarse voice sounded out, and then it quickly pounced towards Lin Feng. Kill. Lin Feng took out 36 bamboo swords and slashed towards the god. The aura of the 36 bamboo swords was extremely terrifying, and they were specially used to restrain these gods. The 36 bamboo swords were as fast as lightning as they slashed towards the god. A demonic saber appeared in the god's hand. He waved the demonic saber in his hand, and it collided with Lin Feng's 36 bamboo swords. Look at those female corpses. At this time, Meng Jiyao couldn't help but exclaim. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.